If you have a problem with Jews, you are going to have a problem with heaven, because we're going to be worshiping a Jew forever and ever.
Jesus is coming back soon, like really soon. You guys have seen the news. Jesus might actually come back this week, March 16th through 22nd. I'm not even kidding.
That's right, Mark. Apparently the world might come to an end today, according to evangelical Christians online, claiming that the rapture is near. TikTok is ablaze with people reacting to the alleged rapture on what's being called rapture talk.
We have a lot of Americans who are saying, move on, this is Armageddon coming, this is the promised end of the world. We are hearing lots of reports about this being preached in the military. We're seeing a lot of people who believe that the worse it gets, the closer we are to the second coming of Jesus Christ.
The voice of the archangel summons the righteous from their graves. All over planet Earth, the graves will explode and the occupants will begin to soar toward the heavens. Cars will be empty beside the streets and the freeways. The motors are running, the drivers and the occupants are strangely missing.
Prophetically, all of the end times events take place in Israel. When you read the prophets, when you read the book of Revelation, it all centers around Israel. It all centers of them being in the land. So for prophecy to be fulfilled, Jewish people need to be back in the land.
It's hard for me to conceive the emergence of the Jewish state, the re-emergence of the Jewish state, without the support of Christian Zionists in the United States, also in Britain, but the main thrust was in the United States in the 19th century.
America would be a much better country if more young people went to church. If you're a Christian, you should absolutely, I tell this to young people when I'm on college campuses, if you're a Christian, you need to be going to church, you need to be reading the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, of course, and you need to be living a life in accordance with the teachings of Jesus.
The relationship between the U.S. and Israel is the only thing that's keeping the U.S. from going down right now. And I base that off of Genesis 12.
Yeah.
So critical time, big decisions to make.
Why are you obsessed with Israel? Why are you acting like you have more allegiance to Israel than to America? Where does this obsession come from? And I said to him, and this was the only thing I said, and then it exploded online. I said, my Savior is a Jew.
Wake up, you little idiot. You are worship a dead man that was killed by the Romans. They crucified him and he couldn't even save himself. You expect him to come and save you and save the world? After 2,000 years, you really that stupid? And then you come and say, oh, the Jews killed our God? How can you kill a God? You're not normal? Okay, so some goyim, they're waking up.
Epic intro from our very own John Garadis with a bunch of see-through-it-all clips. Totally epic. Love starting the show off with a good fire edit. Amalek is here, got a huge show, Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Trump has declared victory in Iran, did a press conference. We're going to cover all those highlights and clips. We've also got something really cool, a large language Midrash posted by a culture account that we all follow. Amalek knows him better. And knows more about it. That's very interesting. LLM Midrash creates the Jesus story, similar to Jesus. We're going to get into that. Also, this idea that Zionism is not Judaism. We have a clip, and we're going to respond to that. And a bunch of other stuff. What's up, everybody? We are doing a stream today. Couldn't miss it. Couldn't drag me away. What's up, Amalek?
Yo, what's up? Ready to get into it.
Yeah, tons of stuff to get into now. First clip, Department of State, the war in Iran has been won, Trump declares. Didn't make it till next Thursday, right? Maybe that's when they'll sign the deal. Or what was the Thursday rabbi prophecy we covered?
It
Before
was
Passover?
Passover Eve. They said, "Oh, be on the lookout for Passover Eve. Something big will happen," sort of thing. Yeah. So we'll see what they do. And then I've also seen it passed around that April 9th, right? So the end of Passover could be what Trump's aiming for as a peace deal. So we'll see. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff that we're hearing is them just kind of like signaling to the other side what they're doing and trying to cause confusion. Because if you actually look what we're really doing while we're saying all this stuff, it's like moving troops into place. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're doing.
Good point. Good point. I got the powerchat.live/no more news turned on, where your comment will be read and you can contribute to the channel and make these streams possible. I can't do it without you. I greatly appreciate all the support and being able to do this and have this community. Please help us keep it going. I just got that turned on right now. And first clip then, the epic, historic, we won the war. I can't wait to hear Trump brag about his great war victory and how he deserves the peace prize. It's all of this is breaking.
We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like we're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally...
You look at the internet and it's Bibi's dead and Israel's being turned to glass and looks like Gaza and Zionist project is collapsing, right? And they're just like, we're winning, we're a global superpower, Israel's dominating the Middle East.
Yeah. The opposition, the so-called opposition to Zionism is not even dealing with reality whatsoever. Everyone is like playing pretend in some sort of fantasy land.
All sides. You're right. Is like the CNN saying that Trump is losing, or they're just saying like, this could throw us into a global economic collapse and the oil price and every other commodity is going to go up like crazy and it's going to wreck
that's kind
everything.
of what CNN is saying. I was watching a little bit yesterday, but what Fox News is saying is, and MSNBC is saying, they're both they're completely in fairy tale land. Yesterday I watched Fox News for like 30 minutes, and the commercials, first of all, are fucking hilarious. If you guys got to watch it. It's just too funny. It's just like, it's like literally like Hagee and stuff on that as commercials. But anyway, I saw yesterday on Fox News, they were saying, again, this is so crazy. They were talking about how, and Donald Trump knows that the Ayatollah tried to kill him twice, once in Pennsylvania and once in Florida, and Bibi makes sure to remind him of that every time they talk. How crazy is that? They're saying that on Fox. There's no evidence for that whatsoever at all.
Yeah, they've shown no evidence for that.
So just imagine that. So somebody in Fox News is saying that, Bibi's bringing that up to Trump every time. If that's even like a little bit true, it makes so much sense, right? Like every time Bibi talks to, every time he talks to Donald Trump, he's doing the whole thing. Oh, remember, Iran tried to kill you. Remember that, Donald. That's so that makes sense. Why
he's been doing it. Yeah, he's been doing that one for a while. I'm sure he says it publicly in his speeches and on interviews. So he's definitely saying it in private also.
Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country. They can't do a thing about it. For instance, if I want to take down that power plant.
What about how they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, though?
That very big, powerful power plant. They can't do a thing about it. It's like, take me. That's all they can do. And yet, if you read the New York Times or if you watch ABC fake news or NBC fake news, you'd say it's a close battle. It's not a close battle. We've won this. This war has been won. The only... I have to.
Have you covered the aircraft carrier situation on here? I don't think you have. Have you? Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
I read a headline today, like I forget the name of it, Abraham Lincoln or something. They're saying it's got issues. It had that like leak or something in the bathroom, and then now they're saying it's not workable. It's not ready for fighting or something.
Yeah, I was looking at some military news before we jumped on, and like a couple of like interview people talking about it. And there's like two leading theories going on. The first theory is that somebody intentionally clogged a toilet, which started this fire because they were in protest of the war. They didn't want to do the war, which I think that's I mean, a lot of these aircraft carriers are run by like they're like floating cities is what I would call them. Like that's a good way to explain them. It's like a lot of the people on there are like, just doing it to get a college degree or things like that. So like I could maybe see someone like something like that happen. But the other thing that they're saying is that perhaps one of Iran's missiles got through and hit the aircraft carrier, and that aircraft carrier is going to be out of commission for, I think they said 16 months at minimum. And that aircraft carrier, it's done for 16 months. That's crazy, right? So it shows. I think I talked to you about it before on here. How extremely vulnerable aircraft carriers are, and how we're only going to be able to move them in so far because of this, because how dangerous it is.
From getting attacked by missiles?
Well,
I didn't
missiles
know.
and
Did it get
drones-
hit by a missile and a drone?
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. They're
Okay.
speculate. People are trying to speculate. Like, well, why did so much damage happen to this ship? So it was either they're saying it's an internal fire that was caused in the kitchen. That's the official story. But a lot of people aren't believing that. Like a lot of like I said, military analysts are not buying that.
Okay.
Disappointed. I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled.
He said, like, yesterday or the day before, he said it was Pete Hegseth's idea to bomb Iran. You see that? Everybody was saying he's throwing him under the bus. He's preparing to throw him under the bus. He also said it was Kushner earlier.
They're doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing. Yeah, please.
Mr. President.
Disappointed.
All right, now here's Hegseth. Closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You're spot on. Never in history has a modern military, Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign
yeah, dude, they're totally losing.
That we've conducted,
Totally.
Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when
It's because they got Palantir and OpenAI and Claude, and they're using AI. I think that's a big contributing factor to it as well. Also, the military, of course, but the AI advancement in the military also, I think, is giving them a big edge. Don't you think?
Maybe. I think that that's true. And what's really kind of crazy is I was talking about this before we jumped on, that it looks like the AI bubble might be infected by this whole like economic wrench or whatever you would call this going on, because the supply chain that's like keeping AI going, specifically computer chips, require like this special kind of helium that's supposed to come through the Straits of Hormuz, and because that's blocked off, they're having trouble producing some of those components that are traditionally associated with AI chips and just computer chips in general, graphics cards, things like that. So they're unable to. So this might actually hurt the AI, like the AI bubble that everyone's talking about that might burst. This Strait of Hormuz thing might end up causing it, because that's kind of how those things happen. Is supply chain issues lead to like downstream cost effects and production issues.
I don't know if that'll make it burst, though. That'll just make it all more expensive.
Yeah, well, the government will just like.
They're gonna straighten out the Strait of Hormuz, though. It's not. I don't think this is gonna be. They're gonna have some resolution to this. I believe.
See, I don't know if like taking that island will even stop the problem. That's the thing. Is I don't even if we took that island. First of all, like the response.
Well, they're bullshitting. If they can't take the strait, they're bullshitting about how this is the greatest victory ever.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like they murked them pretty damn good. I mean,
I just don't see how you actually secure the Strait of Hormuz without basically securing all of southern Iran from like the ground. Essentially, that's the problem. It's just that they have tons and tons of military bases and like static emplacements and things like that that can hit that island. So that if you took the island, it's just going to get return fire as soon as you took the island. The only way to actually take that island would be to secure the land of southern Iran. That's the issue. Lindsey Graham was calling it. He's like, oh, we did Iwo Jima, we can do this again. It would be like if Iwo Jima was off the coast of mainland Japan. Like you couldn't just like take Iwo Jima, you know what I mean? You would have to take Iwo Jima and then instantly like, okay, now we have to hurry up and take mainland Japan because they're just gonna, artillery battery us, or you know what I mean, bomb us on that island. You can't just sit on that island, kind of thing. That's kind of what would happen.
All right.
The United States, that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability, and that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Netanyahu was just saying the other day that they're going to need troops. I thought we were sending troops over. Now, is this just like a mission accomplished and then something else will happen and they'll be like, all right, we're back in with troops. We got to send in troops to take the strait over. They just love patting themselves on
the 82nd. They're going to send the 82nd over is what I'm seeing in some of the headlines today saying. So like I said, I think that what part of this is it's like it's trying to confuse the other side. That's a big part of what Trump, he was always saying that about Obama. Oh, you guys say we're going to attack here, we're going to do this, and then the enemy knows what you're going to do, and then they're able to outmaneuver you. Remember that was like one of the things he would say on his campaign all the time. I think that a lot of what he's doing is just kind of like head faking Iran. That's what he's poorly trying to do it.
Probably. This comment's pretty good. He says, is that why we are thinking of putting boots on the ground? Is that why Iran continues to hit neighboring countries with missiles and drones? Is that why the Strait of Hormuz is closed? We have not totally decimated Iran, not even close. I know, this is kind of wild. What?
Saudi Arabia put out a message, I think it was either yesterday or this morning, saying that if they get hit one more time in critical infrastructure, that they're going to start launching their own attacks. Because that's how pissed off they are about this whole thing. I mean, Saudi Arabia can't operate without and Israel's in the same way, without their desalinization plants and all sorts of other technologically advanced systems that they have there.
Yeah, they just hit Israel Dimona with a hypersonic missile 2 days ago. Now you're acting like you won and it's over. It's kind of crazy. Also,
it was amazing. Actually, they gave us a present. And the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
What did they give them?
It wasn't nuclear related. It was
Everybody's going to be wondering what they gave them.
related. And it was a very nice thing.
Hold on, did he say something about nuclear? He was saying he wants the nuclear dust the other day, remember?
No, it wasn't nuclear related.
It wasn't nuclear related.
And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, it was amazing.
I wonder what they gave him. What if it's something crazy like prophetic, biblical, some type of biblical significance present?
We told them where the Mahdi was. We found him.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure.
We're going to end it, but not for sure.
I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won. I think we're going to end it.
Dude, those are going to be some possibly haunting. Those are not going to age well, I'm guessing.
Killed all of them. You have another question? You haven't been here in a while.
Well, Iran, can you give us any more sense of who exactly in Iran it is either?
Have we not had one Powerchat?
Yeah.
Is Powerchat down?
We had, I hate to say this in front of these young people. They're not children. I spoke to most of them. They sound like adults to me, even though they are sort of children, right? They'll always be your children. But I hate to say it, but we killed all their leadership. And then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them. And now we have a new group and we can easily do that. But let's see how they turn out.
I don't think he's talking to anybody. I think that this is a huge bluff. And I saw somebody joking around that it's probably just like BB pretending to be, yes.
Yeah, they're putting him on the phone with some Mossad agent telling him it's leader so and so of Iran, Mullah Ding Dong, and then he talks to him and tells him, and he like lets him win, makes him feel like he's winning the negotiation, and then tricking him into giving him exactly what Israel wants. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. That's funny.
Hank sent $5 on Rumble.
No wonder he thinks he's winning.
Israelis are telling him has Cyrus the Great hand. Even if Trump wants out, the Israelis will keep striking, keeping Hormuz closed.
The Cyrus the Great and shit. Yeah, they gave him King Cyrus's scepter or something crazy like that. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. I don't. This whole thing's a mess. I don't think he's telling the truth
this
at
is
all.
a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems. So this was, I think we can say, Jason, this is regime change, right?
What makes you trust?
I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you.
Judges, regime change, successful regime change. That was our goal. Take out the nuclear regime change. We did that. The regime is dead.
Man,
imagine there actually is somebody in Iran that's talking to him,
him,
and like if they actually got caught, they would be killed instantly. Like it's just, I don't know. I just doubt. I hugely doubt that he's actually talking to anyone that's like high up or in power. Maybe like one of their regional governors or something is, trying to make some sort of deal or something. But I don't. He is totally bullshitting, I think.
If I didn't know you, I'd probably have more trust. But I don't trust anyone. Why do you say that? Why do you say what makes you trust? Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
And they don't trust you.
They're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize.
We're never going to learn what they gave him to end the war? Like, wouldn't that need to be publicly known? It was a big prize they gave to me, and I ended the war. Like, what the hell did they give him? Who do you get to keep it? Like, is it America's now? Is it yours? Is it going to go to Mar-a-Lago? What was it? The present for the king. Yeah, what could it be?
One of the reporters asked him like, "Oh, what's the plan for the Straits of Hormuz and who's going to control it?" And he's like, "Who will control it?" And he's like, "Oh, maybe I will." Maybe,
I played that one yesterday.
Maybe somebody else. It's like
he goes, me and the Ayatollah are going to split it 50-50 right down the middle.
It's so ridiculous.
Dude, everybody's going to be speculating what this gift is, too. Is there some scripture about, like, the king receives, like, the secret present or something? I'm going to be Twilight Zoned.
The what?
If there's some prophecy somewhere about a king receiving some big gift or a secret gift or something.
Oh, there's almost certainly something like that.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to search it.
The Guardian just posted an article, Trump's rehash 15-point Iran plan unlikely. So he just put together this 15-point Iran plan they gave forward just now. That they've already done.
They gave it to us, and they
it's
said
basically full of stuff they've already tried.
One thing to me, we're dealing with the right people. Is that nuclear related? No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related, and it was a very nice thing.
Hold on, he said it was oil and gas related, he just said. So maybe they gave us a ship of oil or something? Very big, very expensive.
They did, but what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone. As the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
To the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of...
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah.
Negotiating on who's going to control the strait from now on?
No, we'll have control of anything we want. Look,
we'll have control of anything we want. That's boss rhetoric right there. That's so crazy.
We've literally become like mobsters of the world. Like there's straight.
Whatever I want. If I want it, I got it.
This
It's ridiculous.
without more lives being down, without knocking out $10 billion electric plants that are brand new and the apple of their eye. I'd like to be able to do that, you know. But
the apple of their eye, just like the
Jews. I mean, you know the things. I don't have to go over the list, but again, it starts with no nuclear weapons, and they've agreed to that. There won't be any nuclear weapons. They're not going to have, and they're not going to have enrichment.
They've agreed to that forever.
Any of those things, but
We trust him now. They agreed before. We didn't believe him, but we believe him now. They promised forever and ever. Eternal peace, no nuclear bombs for them.
look, I hate to say that we're in a very good bargaining position, and I hate to say that they're defenseless because, you know, until that last missile is fired, they have little power. But we are
How many more missiles do they have?
bargaining position. We're way ahead of schedule. And again, they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no missile protection, and most of their missiles are gone. Most of their launches we've killed.
Not all of them.
82% of their launches. So even if they had a missile, they can't launch it.
You think so? That's more. They haven't taken out 80% of their launchers. You don't think so? I would think they could, because don't they have satellite? And then they, like last year when there was the 12-day war, they saw where tons of them were. Or they probably didn't shoot from all of them, but they saw where a lot of them were. Right? You could see that launch pattern and trace it back, and they know right where to bomb. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I think they have tons and tons of this weaponry like scattered throughout their country. I don't think it's like concentrated in one place. And I don't think that there's any way that we would be able to have like an accounting of all of it to say that we destroyed 82% of it. Maybe you could say we destroyed 82% of the visible.
The ones we knew. The ones we knew. Yeah.
But I don't think it. I mean, the terrain of Iran itself, I think, prevents us from. That would be like saying, "Oh, we got all the Taliban out of Afghanistan." Like it's like, dude, the Hindu Kush is literally. It's like anthills. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you have no way of verifying that in those mountains. That's like the whole the whole geography of like specifically like northern and northeastern Iran, and then south. I mean, every part
but
of.
But how many mountain launching underground facilities could they have though in that difficult, terrain?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, but I know it's definitely not that I don't think that we know is really what matters here. I don't think that we have any way of saying like, oh yeah, we got 82%, all done, good to work, good to go here. Like I think that's ridiculous. Whoever's giving him that intelligence is like way overshooting that number.
Yeah,
especially because I do.
Maybe they're able to measure like if their fires are 80% down, they assume it's 80% of the launchers or something like that. Also,
well, I think that
anyway, it doesn't really matter. All right, let's play out. We don't need to argue for 10 minutes if 80% is accurate.
We've been very we have the greatest military in the world. Nobody even comes close. We have the best military equipment in the world. Go ahead.
On the Saudi Crown Prince.
On Saudi Arabia, there's been some reporting that you've been talking to the Crown Prince. Have you been focused on normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel?
Well, no, we have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi Arabia?
Just hearing that you've been talking and that he has been encouraging you to do certain things related to Iran. Can you share?
Well, he's a warrior. He does. Yeah, he's a warrior. He's fighting with us.
Saudi Arabia wants us to fucking land troops and make this stop now. That's what they want us to do. They are pissed.
Yeah.
Arabia has been excellent, and UAE.
It's all their oil going through there.
And I will tell you, Qatar, incredible. Qatar took a hit, a pretty bad hit. Qatar is very close. They're essentially, you can walk right over the border. Qatar took a hit. They've been great. They've been very strong. Kuwait, they had a little mishap. They shot down 3 planes with our missiles. They happen to be our planes, but the pilots made it. Can you imagine the pilots making it? The pilots saw what was coming, and they said, those are Patriots. We're not going to escape Patriots, and they got out of there pretty quick, Pete, right? Pretty amazing that they got out. The 3 pilots lived. They're fine. In fact, they're flying.
Is he trying to turn a friendly fire incident into a W? Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah. He's like, Kuwait shot down 3 of our own planes over there.
Burger_Kang sent $5 on Rumble. I think Trump believes or is being told he is Messiah Ben Joseph. Isaiah 11:12-16 about a future guy fighting Jews' war and plundering the East.
Probably. I mean, it's Isaiah 9 is what is on his Torah Crown Award, his Prince of Peace Award. And that wasn't the crown, that was the menorah.
I saw a report this morning that Kushner is trying to do negotiations for this right now too. So, he's sending his official agent of peace.
Yeah, the peacemaker.
Today.
Was the Kuwaitis that accidentally fired the missile?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Kuwaitis made a mistake. They fired. They thought they were firing at the enemy. It was, as the expression goes, friendly fire. But the pilots...
As the expression goes.
Pretty amazing when you think of it. Yeah.
So they know that they're locked on and they eject so they don't get blown up? Is that what he's saying? That's how the pilot survived, I'm assuming?
Yeah, because they knew it was coming.
On Saudi
Okay.
And elsewhere. And nobody thought they were going to... Were you unexpectedly, when this war broke out, unexpectedly they started sending missiles to UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain.
How was it unexpectedly, by the way?
And elsewhere. And nobody thought they were going to... Were you equally surprised by that, Pete?
Way more than we thought.
Pete, do you want to give about a 3...
Hold on, what did he say? This is crazy. They're also like, you didn't realize they were going to shut down the strait? Didn't Trump the other day said nobody... I predicted it. I predicted the strait would be... Remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, I predicted the strait. They would try to shut it down and use it politically.
We were laughing like, dude, everybody always says that. You're trying to take credit for the prediction.
And elsewhere. And nobody thought they were going to... Were you equally...
Nobody thought they would bomb your bases in the Middle East? Hadn't they been threatening that for a while? I'm pretty sure I've heard them threaten. They're like, we will attack your bases in the region if you do anything, if you fuck with us. Nobody expected it. Did you know that? This is so embarrassing. They're acting like, doing this publicly. Wild.
Ridiculous.
His hair is looking good today. He's got a nice little wave here, little half pipe, little rainbow.
Way more than we thought.
What did he say?
Pete, do you want to...
Way more. I think he said way more than we anticipated or something, maybe. Okay.
How do you ensure they won't?
And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Okay, we saw that. Okay, I think we're about cut up here. Yes, we are. Let's see. Let's do Joe Kent versus Mark Levin did a stream together.
When you put that letter out,
Or maybe they didn't. Did they do a stream together, or he just talked about him? I thought he was on the show. He
I don't know, I didn't
debated
see.
him. Okay.
when you put that letter out, you knew it would do maximum damage to the president, didn't you? The timing, for instance, if you were going to resign because you didn't agree with this war, why didn't you resign when the war started?
Because I was hoping that we would immediately de-escalate and try and get back to the negotiating table.
We would start a war and de-escalate in 3 days?
I thought I was hoping that we were
Where's
going
that
to do
ever
limited
happen?
strikes, and then limited strikes like we did in Midnight Hammer, and then back off.
Freely99 sent $5 on Rumble. Who was the first Jew?
Depends on who you ask. I don't think there's a real answer to that because most of the figures of the Old Testament are fictional, so they wouldn't even be the real Jew. What do most Jews say? The consensus is Abraham, right? Abraham, they say Moses, you know?
Jacob, I see Jacob.
Jacob.
Turn around. Yeah, I don't think that's a way to...
Yeah. You could say the Judeans, when it was King David and Judah, the inhabitants of Judea, I guess you could say that. Maybe
kind of like
also.
asking like who was the first Frank? Who was the first, right? Who was the first Spanish person, right? Like these, that's, I don't know.
Who was the first principal at Hogwarts? Yeah. Is that supposed to be like a Christian got you or something too? That feels like a Christian cope response, like on who the first Jew is. Do you hear me all the time talking about the first Jew was this and this is why it matters? Like it's kind of an real irrelevant point.
go back to the negotiating table. Once I realized that that was not going to happen and we were spiraling deeper into this and we were starting to lose brave men and women in yet another Middle Eastern war driven by the Israeli agenda, that's what led me to resign.
You got a real hate on
duty to make it public.
Oh, driven by the Israeli agenda. You have a real hate on, he says. Dude, it's clearly Israel wants this, dude. We can't notice Israel's agenda without you saying that we hate. You got a real hate boner, dude, for noticing Israel. For noticing I've been screaming about bombing Iran for weeks and months and years and decades with Netanyahu, right? How dare you?
The
Israeli agenda.
Yeah, dude. Somebody mentioned this, and I can't not unsee it now. Look at the forehead difference. He's got like 9 inches of forehead on this guy. He's got the forehead, the hairline of like a toddler.
That's what led me to resign.
You got a real hate on.
He could play Superman.
You got a real hate on, brother. No.
Joe Kent, Clark Kent. He's actually Superman dressed up, pretending to save America. Joe Kent is Clark Kent.
You do.
And secretly our super Moshiach. He's the Moshiach. I'm calling it.
Joe.
Hold on, what is
I
this?
read your text. I read them out loud.
Don't worry about it.
No, not Mark Levin. Superman. Joe Kent.
Superman.
And you've like done a 180. Why is that? Because you had access to intelligence or something? Why have you changed completely?
I have not done a 180. I have no
I'll play
problem
that.
with us working with Israel. I have a problem with Israel driving our foreign policy in the Middle East as they have done to get us into this war.
Do you have no respect for Donald Trump's agency, that he has the capacity to make these decisions himself?
I have the utmost respect for the president. You can read my letter.
You didn't answer my question. You don't sound like it.
I believe that he was influenced.
It is Trump's agency. He is doing this. It's not like he's being forced to. It's true.
Right.
He wants to do this. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's going to be written about in the in a new Bible book. He's in this. It's not like he's being forced or anything like that.
He thinks Iran tried to kill him.
Yeah. There's no blackmail going on. Like, it's not required, at least. To what degree there is blackmail, it's not even remotely required. He's doing
right. Trump has agency. He's complicit. He's complicit in all this for one way or another. And he's been that way a long, long time. And that's why we covered when he was on Tucker, when Superman was on Tucker, that they were giving Trump's excuses like, oh, he's just been tricked, he's been lied to, or he's controlled, or Epstein stuff, right? But it's like, why even have to go there? Just Trump is in with it. He's down for the cause. Why wouldn't he? Look at where it's gotten him. Basically got a messiah complex.
He's influenced by your media echo chamber. Or maybe he's influenced by the Saudis and the Qatar. Who knows?
Naftali Bennett calls Joe Kent a schmuck.
We, in fact, are fighting their war. I'll tell you why.
Oh, yeah, he's forehead mogging, yeah.
$15 for head mogging.
Yeah. You could tell that was the chosen headline, the forehead, the chosen and the unchosen forehead.
We are fighting their war. I'll tell you why. Iran shot 2 missiles to Diego Garcia, which is almost 4,000 kilometers from Iran. That's a range that reaches.
You see, it's not America fighting this war for Israel. It's Israel fighting this war for Europe, to save Europe and America, to save Edom, actually.
Oh, that's exactly how they're painting it.
Yeah.
Brussels.
Well, that was kind of the Genghis Khan comment, right?
That's a range that reaches Brussels, that reaches Madrid, that reaches Paris. And we, in fact, had we not acted, all of Europe would be under a terrible nuclear ballistic missile menace. So we're fighting your war. And we expect not to be, criticized in and on, but We expect your backing. That would be the decent thing to do.
Don't criticize
We
us.
have to do the hard job. We're used to it, and we'll do what's right.
But let me pick up on that
We'll be the moral ones and save you, evil goy.
point. So at this point, you'd say the reaction from the Europeans is that they are cowards.
This is Europe today.
Not everyone. Some European countries have stepped up.
Cowards.
Many others.
Who?
I'm not going to name names. I think you know exactly who. I think any European leader who sort of says, this isn't our problem. So when will it become your problem? When they have a nuclear weapon? When the missile is on its way to Madrid? When it hits Madrid or Barcelona? Is that when you're going to wake up? So we're doing the fighting. We didn't ask you for any help, nothing. All we're doing is fighting against this horrible radical Islamist menace.
They're not asking for help, but you're just a bunch of cowards for not helping them, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's
You
crazy
didn't-
because they do this. They all do this thing where they pretend like Iran's gonna try to nuke Europe. If somebody nukes Europe, it's them.
Jesus was fake sent $5. Adam.
So ridiculous.
Thoughts on streaming on? I heard they don't allow Christians.
No, I'm not looking for another place to stream. I'm maxed out on my streaming key, whatever they're called, streaming keys. And that would just do nothing but bring drama and headaches.
Eliminating this threat, and instead of thanking us, you're criticizing us. I mean, what's the deal there regarding that guy who quit? Well, he's a schmuck. I don't care about him. He's irrelevant. He's going to go down in the dustbin of history. We're fighting the most just war ever, and we should be getting your backing and not your criticism.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Greenblatt? No, hold on. Let's not do that one yet. Josh Hammer says Tulsi Gabbard is directing a shadow operation and concocting, behind the scenes, concocting an anti-Semitic theories, pushing them out to... Dude, is Tulsi Gabbard hiding her power level? Is she the deep state anti-Semitic cabal?
What they mean by this is they mean what was openly stated, that Israel and Bibi Netanyahu and is pro-Israel Zionists in the White House influenced Trump. They're saying that if you say that, which is what they have themselves have said, that is the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. That's what he's talking about here.
I know. It's total gaslighting.
It's total. It's so crazy. Yeah.
Aaron Mullen show. Wonder if she's big.
Multiple people around the same time, last fall, I don't remember the exact date, that Tulsi Gabbard, who is the director of national intelligence, and she was Joe Kent's
voice
boss,
is so the
director
worst.
of the National Counterterrorism Center. He worked under Tulsi Gabbard. I was told by numerous people who are very much part of the conservative ecosystem in D.C., these are well-sourced people, strong connections to the White House. They told me to be strongly on the lookout for Tulsi Gabbard and her office. They basically said that Tulsi Gabbard is running something of a shadow operation from her office, that she is personally, I was told this, I've met Tulsi, I don't know her well. I was told she's personally...
Watch, Tulsi's going to be the next to go. They just replaced Kristi Noem with some new dude who I haven't heard his background check to see if he's a big Zionist or not, but the new Homeland Security, Mullen or something like that it was.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's
yeah, they're gonna get them all out. I think RFK is on a timer right now too.
Optics Prime sent $5.
Thank you, Optics.
It's kind of funny that Trump is gaming the stock market while Israel burns to the ground. His 5-day pause just resets him for the weekend short.
Yeah, dude, I think that they're doing, have you looked into the market manipulation stuff? A lot of the leftists point this out because they're like obsessed with being anti-capitalist and like they critique the stock market and things like that. I've been watching them kind of explain this and I think they're totally right on. That a lot of what Trump is doing is he's putting out things to manipulate the market, you know what I'm saying, right? So he, on the Fridays he's doing, he's putting out those statements, and then by Monday he's trying to like fix the market so that when the market opens up on Monday that it doesn't it stays stable. And what I think is happening is a lot of people in his administration, you and I talked about this, are making bets and making money off of this. Right, so you got, we know who was it? Was it Lutnick or who was it that was doing the bet? Who was betting?
Lutnick was betting on the tariffs with Cantor Fitzgerald. That's right. He was betting against the tariffs succeeding. Actually, I think it was. He was shorting them. I've also seen I've seen headlines. They could be made up. I haven't fact checked them all the way, but that Barron is doing a bunch of like insider trading, investing with cryptos, and I saw one recently. They're like right
Well, you
before
don't need
the
Barron.
attack.
The other two sons. The other two.
The other two
have-
sons are really
Sure.
into it too. Also, yeah. But the headline I saw was Barron Energy. He invested in oil right before this happened. Right now, and the price skyrocketed like crazy. Like he knew.
Yeah, I think that's going
a lot
on
of that
a lot,
going
a
on.
lot. Yeah, I think that's going on a lot, and they're making money off of it. So a lot of these statements that Trump is putting out should be seen through that lens of what he's trying. He's literally trying to manipulate the market, which is, I mean, it's not going to happen because the left is sitting there saying, "Oh, 25th Amendment." That is not happening. That is just not happening, guys.
Yeah. Or he's just trying to reassure everybody that everything's going great and it's a big W, right? So he just says, "We won, mission accomplished, it's over. Greatest military ever. Total control whatever we want."
Actually very anti-Semitic, and that she is heavily involved in a lot of the anti-Semitic influencer operations, and that she is potentially involved when it comes to trying to feed some of these narratives there. Now, I didn't put two and two together at the time and think that this trail led immediately to Joe Kent. I've known of Joe Kent for years. We follow each other on Twitter for forever. I knew that he had some isolationist-y leaning views on foreign policy, but nothing particularly extreme. He actually, up until yesterday or a year ago, whatever, was somewhat sober, at least, on issues pertaining to the Middle East, Iran, Israel, you name it, though. So I didn't put two and two together at the time that it immediately went to Joe Kent, but especially after his disgusting anti-Semitic dripping with the anti-Semitism conspiracy-laden resignation letter, Aaron, I am not surprised that here is where we are at when it comes to trying to figure out who it was. And indeed, it does seem, as Andrew on his show said, that it was Joe Kent.
It's so hard because dude, it's so hard because you know what he's saying, right? Like, and you get what he's saying. Like that, like his Joe Kent's resignation letter was a letter that basically it was like the first resignation letter we could point to and be like, oh, this guy basically resigned because of Jews, right? Like you can't say that that's not true. So there is something to that, right? But them painting that as anti-Semitism, right, and which basically enables all of their, all of the reactions and defenses that they get when they use that term. Like it totally misses the mark. It totally basically tries to absolve them of all criticism. It's weird, right? Because it was like a proclamation against Jews. You know what I mean? Like Joe Kent's resignation. There's just no other way to read that.
New clip, Gavin Newsom says he's a proud Zionist that reveres the state of Israel.
No.
It's over, guys. It's over, Newsom bros.
Do you consider yourself a Zionist?
Do I consider myself a Zionist?
Yes.
I believe, I revere.
Whenever you repeat back the question, that's usually somebody is like trying to think, give them some time to think of an answer.
Consider yourself a Zionist?
Do I consider myself a Zionist?
Yes.
I believe, I revere the state of Israel. I'm proud to support the state of Israel. I deeply, deeply oppose Bibi Netanyahu's leadership, his opposition to the two-state solution, and deeply oppose.
This is totally kosher, by the way. This line,
right.
the problem is Bibi's administration is extremely left-wing kosher. It's like I would say this line is what most left-wing anti-Zionists are doing, where they're saying that the problem is Bibi's government. Well, that just shows like a complete childish view of politics in Israel. 82% of Israel, the populace, supports this war in Iran. So to sit there,
yeah, but it is like saying that like Netanyahu's been in charge for since 2000 or 2001 or something,
he
right?
He avoided a civil war with this whole thing. Like I get that they're trying to commentate on that.
Bibi has been Israel's longest serving prime minister for like 25 years or something crazy, quarter century. So saying he's anti-Bibi is kind of saying he's anti the Israeli government the last 25 years.
Yeah, but they're in power because they're so popular. That's the problem there, right? It's like saying, it's like when people say, "Oh, we don't like Putin is in power in Russia because Putin is popular in Russia." You just can't take that away from them. Yes, their elections are rigged. Yes, there's a whole bunch of issues there. Obviously, he's like an authoritarian or whatever.
Yeah, but if he was really unpopular, he'd be ousted.
Well,
he'd be
there would be
backstabbed.
more,
There would
but
be traitors. Yeah.
the elites are behind him. All the institutions are behind him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has full backing from his people. And that is how Israel is right now. 82%, like I said, 82% support this war with Israel. Or I'm sorry, with Iran, right? So if you think about that, then they even the religious Jews who have basically have critiques of Bibi Netanyahu historically, they are even coming out and supporting of him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This idea that, you know, oh, it's just Israel or it's just Bibi
Just Netanyahu. Yeah. They'll say
That's
it's
just
just Zionism, or it's just Netanyahu, or it's just the Rothschilds, right? It's very limited in scope in criticism.
It wouldn't do anything if the left wing or liberal parties in Israel took over. It would have very little. They would run this whole operation in a very similar way, I would say.
How he is indulging the far right as it relates to what's going on in the West Bank.
Do you regret using the word apartheid to describe Israel?
I used it. I do in this context that I said it, and I referenced why I used it. A Tom Friedman article in that same sentence where Tom used it in the context of the direction that Bibi is going.
Not
the concern, correct.
Okay.
And that is a legitimate concern I have that I share with Tom, that direction.
Yeah, anyone
that vision and that direction.
Anyone doing,
far
it's the
right,
current
that
state or
Bibi
the secular state. Anytime someone leads that when they say Israel, they're totally missing the problem. It is an ethno-theocracy. And they support what they're doing. The population, even the left wing and centrists and all those other things, all those other, like, you know, non-religious far radicals, they by and large support this.
That if they see the full annexation of the West Bank, then that's not something. That's a word you may hear others use.
Do you consider yourself a Zionist?
He tweeted this morning or earlier about, do I look like, what's his name? Oh my God, from the movie.
Me?
No, Gavin Newsom tweeted, "Do I look?"
Oh yeah, does he look like Bateman from American Psycho? Yeah.
Yeah, how funny is that?
Yeah, that was funny. He did look like him. Okay, let's see. I want to see this. Kabbalist Jew, the CEO of WeWork, who had a huge like stock scandal, right? Ripped everybody off, I think. Who I remember covering years ago. He's friends with Jared Kushner. They're both Kabbalists, and he was using gematria to do his valuations for IPOs and stuff. And pleased to see the Gentiles turning to the Torah. So the Kabbalist Jew, happy about everybody all the goyim going back to church.
Now, I don't know if you know about it. There's something happening now. I don't know if you know about it, called the Quiet Revolution.
Tell me about it.
Young people are interested in going to church. For years and years and years, the people who went to church were getting older and older, and the amount of people was declining. And something happened in the last few years where young people are interested in going to church. More Bibles are being sold. Something's happened.
You guys know who this is too, right? He's the music producer. He might be a Kabbalist too. Is he a Kabbalist? Like, you know, New Agey Kabbalist? What's his name, guys? Do you know, Amalek? I'm forgetting his name right now.
I forget his name, but I'm also looking up to see. I think this guy is into that. Remember how
Rick Rubin, right?
Remember how we talked about that AI a couple weeks ago, or when I was on here last week, that AI rabbi? I think that they're all reading that guy's books too. He basically is doing this thing where he basically associates the idea of meditation, like Kabbalistically meditating and altered states of consciousness being lit, like those altered states of consciousness themselves being divine, and bringing technology, that the technology itself is like the word of God, and that through the Bible code, and you know, I mean, you're familiar with all this type of schizo stuff, or they're super familiar with that in Silicon Valley, and this is all that same sphere, I would say. It's like taking technology, like viewing technology through the lens of like a Kabbalist would. It makes perfect sense too, right? Like,
look what I found. Rick Rubin's approach to creativity is heavily influenced by spiritual, almost mystical perspective, often described as a form of Jewish mysticism. Described by him or others, or at times compared to Kabbalistic ideas connecting with a higher source. Deeply interested in spirituality, Rick Rubin's mitzvah. Okay. Look at the name. Tetragrammaton is the name of the podcast. That's the name of God.
That's funny. Yeah.
100%. It's everywhere you go. People are more open. People are ready for it.
Goyim are ready for our Jewish Bibles. Nothing they hate more.
He says all his ancestors are from Ukraine/Russia and he doesn't believe in Judaism.
Yeah, he seems pretty secular to me. I think is it true his wife is Christian?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it is. Dude, this is so crazy, bro. What else do the Goyim need to see? Tetragrammaton, two Kabbalists, smiling and gleeful that all the Goyim are going back to church and believing the Bible, because there's nothing they hate more. Nothing the Bene Gesserit hate more than all the Fremen on Dune believing in messianic prophecies, right, guys?
It's natural.
So true.
It's everywhere you go. People are more open. People are ready for it. It's natural. As technology is going to make us more and more digitally connected, we're going to feel more and more disconnected. The more
remember that clip that they say? Remember, so it's the idea that basically AI itself and the internet itself
a real connection
is
will
going to
never
lead
come
to
by
a single consciousness.
There's
That's
10 seconds, dude. Just hold on a second.
sorry,
There's
sorry,
10 seconds left.
buying another car or buying another house or owning another material good. A real connection comes from the inside. A person who has unity
Dude,
from
this guy's a billionaire and he's talking about money is not important.
the inside has unity to the outside.
Oh, dude, that was
They want unity of the mind is what that's how they describe it. That's how that rabbi describes it in his book. It's like it's that I'll look up what book it's called. I'm having trouble searching my Twitter since I'm locked out. You can't even search your own tweets. I have to scroll through my own tweets. How ridiculous is that?
That sucks. Let's see this. This is going viral today. Jon Stewart
This is
trashing Trump. You saw it?
You went to Iran and we're like, all right, first point, no nuclear weapons. And point number 2, same. Point number 3, see, point number 2. That's what we're supposed to believe.
They will never have a nuclear weapon.
Said yes to that?
They've agreed to that.
Look, Donald Trump is without a doubt one of the most prodigious liars this country has ever produced. He's our supreme misleader. But the chaos this very actual war is creating is making us question even his reality-distorting powers.
Shut your stupid mouth, John Leibowitz. Stewart's not even his real name. It's Leibowitz. Everybody knows that.
Remember when they called him anti-Semitic, Trump, for pointing that out?
That's an actual quote that Trump said that or tweeted it.
How crazy! It's so crazy how things have changed, isn't it? They're all behind him.
Step back into the Wayback Machine. All the way back, I don't know, June, when Israel and the United States first bombed Iran's nuclear program.
We wiped out the nuclear capability of Iran, obliterated it.
It was obliterated like nobody's ever seen before.
I would say it's set back permanently. That place is under
permanently.
rock. That place is demolished. They're never going to have nuclear.
Never. Permanently.
Such a liar.
Obliterated. I'm sorry, Caitlin Collins, you have a question.
If you obliterated their nuclear sites last summer with your strikes, then how can you argue it was an imminent threat now?
Oh, we hit them so hard, we obliterated them. But
Obliterated.
that doesn't mean with the right equipment, you can't dig down and go get it.
Actually,
That's so funny.
I think it's exactly what it means.
I love when Trump does that. When he says it's not this thing.
Yeah, dude.
When he gets in front of oh, I know how they're gonna say it, and he gets in front of the contradiction and tries to head it off by and thinking that if he points at the contradiction, it's no longer a contradiction or something. It's so ridiculous.
It's so annoying. It's so
Oh, he's looking up obliterated.
annoying. Here we go. To obliterate, to destroy completely, leaving nothing behind. There's nothing in here about, well, we completely obliterated it, unless they have shovels.
Unless they have shovels. Yeah. Dude, it's such a crazy lie. And now we're supposed to believe that it's over. We won, 82% destroyed. They've got nothing. Total peace. Right? Yeah, he doesn't have much credibility, to say the least. Okay, let's see here. But NASA, Jared Isaacman, I wonder if he's Jewish. Does that sound like a Jewish name? Says, we're going to build President Trump's moon base.
Interplanetary. Okay, so today is an event we're calling Ignition at NASA headquarters. This is where we align the NASA workforce, industry, all of our international and commercial partners, and really the space-loving community on how we're going to achieve President Trump's national space policy. This means returning to the moon, picking up where Apollo 17 left off. But this
he
time
not only is
we
he
go back.
Jewish, he
We
grew
go-
up in Westfield. I don't know if you're familiar. It's just a.
I knew he was Jewish, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just saying he grew up in Westfield, so he's I would say he's like clicked up is what I this is like how I would describe someone from Westfield.
Back to stay. We're going to build President Trump's moon base. We're going to make investments in the next giant leap capabilities. So today we're going to talk about a first of its kind interplanetary spaceship, nuclear powered, to deliver a very exciting.
Oh yeah, they just announced that they're going to have a nuclear powered ship.
I think that should be banned. I know I'm like a techno futurist, I would say. Or
Yeah.
something. I don't know how you would describe that. Like I'm really into space travel, and I think that that's basically what the purpose of humanity is to ultimately leave this planet and colonize the galaxy.
Well, we got to do it with nuclear.
However, one nuclear catastrophe in our ozone, right above in space could it could send us into a stone age legitimately.
Totally,
so I don't think that we're like ready for something like that.
It could blow up. It could blow up on the launcher. It could fall and crash. It could blow up in the sky. Yeah, that's
blowing up in the sky would be even worse. It would literally cause like radiation rain for like
all over.
generations.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right,
like
right.
there's just no way you could.
You're right.
So I don't know, and I'm not even saying like we could never do it. I'm just saying I don't trust.
Not
our
ready
ability to do
yet.
it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have to like build it in space.
Yeah, that's kind of how
Far away.
like
in
basically
space,
like
yeah.
maybe you're so far out of the orbit that if something does happen, it's not that bad, and
Mm-hmm.
you like put the materials together out there and then use
Right.
that to propel yourself further, kind of thing. Maybe that's how we do it. But
Mm-hmm.
the idea that we're just like launching like nuclear rods into space, like on rocket.
Well, we already have nuclear subs, right? We already have nuclear subs.
Yeah, I think that that's
Don't we?
also insane. Yeah, we do. I think that that's also a little crazy. But the
Build it on the moon. Good idea, Jake Holiday. Exactly. Build it on the moon. Then they'll just blow the moon up. That would end life on Earth, maybe.
What's that sci-fi movie that they do that in Time Machine? They do that and they blow up the moon by accident using the same thing that we're talking about. I think is the lore that they're building nuclear stuff on the moon.
Scientific payload to Mars. We're going to talk about the orbital.
I mean, how long ago was the Challenger?
Talk about more
That was in our
exciting
life,
missions of science and discovery.
Okay, so
today.
I don't know. When was that? 80s?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember actually.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, shout out to Emperor Odin, Wotan Loki, Amalek of Rome for the awesome screen name in the book endorsement here. This was very cool. Very, very honored by this endorsement. Yeah.
Buy this book from No More News before it's sold out. Thank you, Adam Green. Your hard work has paid off. Say no to Jewish gods and hail the old gods.
Yes. Thank you, Suleiman. Thank you, Suleiman, for the endorsement on the book. Down with Yahweh, hail the old gods. Thank you, Suleiman. Very cool.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, if anybody knows who Suleiman is. What is this? The DNA of every Eucharist miracle shows only X chromosome. No Y means no earthly father. Okay, this sounds scientific.
This should be banned. Like this legitimately should be banned. You should not be allowed to preach like this. Like we should give out preaching licenses, and if you do, and this should be an example of what if you do this, you lose your license. That's how this should be right here.
This is blood chromosome of a male and a female. Now, in a female and a male, you have different chromosomes. And by the way, there's only 2 different versions here, not 26. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Okay.
The music every
God
time,
bless
too.
you guys. God bless you.
I like this
Who
song. I should
supplies
use
the
this
X
one.
chromosome? So the mother always supplies the X. Now, if the father supplies another X, you have 2 X's and you have a girl. On the next one, the mother supplies the X. If the father supplies the Y, you have a boy. Guess what the blood
This is how Christians get their science.
from every Eucharistic miracle shows regarding chromosomes? Only the X. It has no Y chromosome, which means it
In
has
every
no
single
earthly
Eucharistic miracle?
father.
Wow.
There is.
Maxed Out Bear sent $10 on Rumble. Don't worry, Amalek. Space travel is fake, unfortunately, so are nukes.
Yeah, thanks for the input from the bear, the bear in the audience. What's a Eucharistic miracle?
They're talking about all the times where like Mary's blood appears on the statue and things like that. They're talking about all those, you know. They're
Oh
talking
my
about all
God!
those, like, yeah,
they're testing those.
Good to
Yeah.
catch you to live again.
Nice, thank you, William. That's great to hear. I think you're overseas, right? So that it made it. That's good to know. It's making it because it cost a lot to ship the book overseas. Some people it's like $40 and stuff. So
Look at that Aryan Jesus too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, shout out for the book. Shout out to the Indian Tsar, my Aryan brother, buying the book. Down with Yahweh, hail the old gods.
Has no Y chromosome, which means it has no earthly father. There is no blood in the world with human.
OMG, God only has a mom.
Dude, only has a mom.
DNA that only has the X. But every single Eucharistic miracle, blood that has appeared on
See, they
hosts
do. They
that has
keep all
been
those things.
tested,
They're not fucking around. They
is the
do
same.
keep that stuff and they test it.
and it has no Y chromosome, which means it has no earthly father.
Wow.
How?
I didn't know we had Jesus's blood to test. That's amazing. We should bring Jesus. They should use that to make a clone of Jesus. They have we have Jesus's DNA. Are you kidding me? Dude, we should resurrect Jesus. Yeah, yeah.
Jurassic Park where they had that little presentation and they do the whole frog. It's the frog DNA, right? And they do the whole thing where they extract it from the amber. We should do that with Jesus. We should remake one of those with AI.
We need a crying statue miracle to get some Jesus blood.
We found Jesus's foreskin and we extracted the DNA and we just mixed it with some Jewish DNA today and we recreated him.
I personally, inspired by the Holy Spirit, prayed over this grape juice and then tested the blood of Jesus, and it doesn't have a father X chromosome.
Instead of frog DNA to fill in the mixing DNA evidence, they could just use Adam King's DNA.
Yeah, dude, they'll mix it with Adam King as the template. As the junk DNA they'll use and inject him with the magical Jesus blood and create the Moshiach and the Antichrist. That's actually the plot of a movie I saw, a horror film. I think I saw it on a plane. It was like some satanic cult tried to steal the Shroud of Turin to extract Jesus's blood to breed a baby with a mother and artificially inseminating it and creating the Antichrist.
Garrett sent $5. All the fake astronauts from the Challenger PSYOP are still alive.
Right,
Some
yeah.
say they are identical twins, but others didn't even change their name.
Crazy, dude. Have you heard that NASA means to deceive in Hebrew, bro?
I don't even, those things, like, I don't know. I've looked into those things before. I don't know. Like during COVID, I looked into some of these things, and I I've told you before how I examine those things. I try to get myself to believe it for maybe a week or a weekend. So I don't know. Every time someone mentions that stuff, it's funny because I'm familiar with those arguments. I just don't think I think it's more likely that those are not true and that, the Challenger did explode.
Yeah, I love all of Garrett's comments. Garrett's just constantly trolling me with every conspiracy that drives me crazy. No, I don't care. I haven't even looked into the Challenger one. I do know they say that though, but people say a lot of things on the internet, Garrett.
You explain that. This blood only had one X. Jesus, if he was not God, would have had an X and a Y.
Dude, that must go really, really hard if you have a 75 IQ and love Jesus.
I've legitimately had people send me that kind of stuff, When I say Jesus didn't exist, like as a myth, like I just make the standard mythicism arguments, and they've sent me that as their example.
Jutsu sent $5.
Yeah.
We clone Jesus and he turns out to be African with a giant hook nose.
Dude, we should make a fake spoof movie where we clone Jesus and then it's Adam King stars as Jesus, as the clone of Jesus. And he's got the red heifer ashes and he's trying to rebuild the temple.
Yeah, we mix Jesus' DNA from the Eucharist miracles with red heifer ashes and Adam King's DNA all together.
And then he smokes the ashes and then he sneaks into the Vatican and steals all the treasures and then goes and blows up the Dome of the Rock. Dude, this could be a whole cartoon featuring Adam King as the Moshiach. Jesus resurrected.
That version of Jesus would definitely be like a Rastafarian, I think, too. Like he would speak like he was
Christians are real mad right now. Here, or it could be starring him. This is Jesus resurrected right here. Rabbi Jonathan Kahn. Paul or Jesus looked like this. Odds are.
Jurassic Moshiach incoming.
Jurassic Moshiach. That's good. Good one, Max Down Bear. I know, Jack Stone. That's what I'm saying. Give it a couple months and we'll make it with AI. Yeah, I was saying AI. Yeah, like the Will Stancil show, the Adam Moshiach show. That's what it'll be, dude. He's going to love this idea, dude. Adam, get your Jews on it. Turn you into a Moshiach cartoon.
I told him he has all this like weed merch and things like that. He should have like trademarked the Goy Nip thing and sold his weed as Goy Nip brand, and he could have made tons of shekels. And then he could have trademark hit all the people using the term Goy.
He could sue all the Goyim for trademark infringement. Right. Totally on brand.
They would love
Pun
that.
intended.
Yeah.
Pun intended. All right, let's hear the latest from.
These guys are going crazy, by the way, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Their thumbnail game is crazy. You should just scroll through YouTube on some of their accounts and see what they've been posting through their thumbnails. It's like like 5 nuclear explosions behind him and shit. It's hilarious.
Why would Tucker Carlson do an entire attack claiming that Israel and the Jews are secretly trying to get the Dome of the Rock off of the Temple Mount because to build the temple?
Dude, I haven't watched this. I swear to God, swear to Hashem, I have not watched this. I'm betting he's going to say that it's God's going to rebuild the temple. God's going to get the dome removed. It'll be God, not the Jews. That's going to be the cope.
The war has nothing to do with the temple in the natural. Carlson has no proof, just innuendo. So why is he all wrapped up in the Temple Mount? Could he be getting it from another place, another source that's revealing actually what is happening in the other realm? Now get this. On October 7th, 2023, Hamas invaded Israel. Killed Israeli fathers, mothers, children, babies, started all this, where we're in right now.
Started
why
it.
They did it.
That's when the conflict started. Remember, guys, it started with Israel being attacked for no reason. That's where everything started.
Meanwhile, by the way, it's totally the opposite. The reason that they did the entire operation of October 7th was because that the Palestinians believed that Al-Aqsa Mosque was under threat. It was called Operation Al-Aqsa, wasn't it? Wasn't that the name of the right?
Yep.
So the whole
Al-Aqsa flood.
Al-Aqsa flood. The whole purpose was this, centered on this issue, this question. So the idea that it just started.
They even mentioned Hamas mentioned the red heifer, I'm pretty sure, in one of their explanations.
100%, yeah.
Dude, Adam King got dragged out of Gaza, photographed, and now he's got the red heifer ashes with his Christian rancher buddy, and they got the red heifers, and it's causing Al-Aqsa flood and them to worry about the Dome of the Rock being destroyed. And now it's being talked about on Tucker and everywhere.
Well, I mean, I was talking about it before we jumped on, but Breaking Points, you guys, there's a Breaking Points video they put out yesterday. It's like 14 minutes of them reacting to a Mizrachi clip and talking about Al-Aqsa Mosque. And in that thing, they're going through and they're just talking about the red heifer ashes and all these things on Breaking Points. 2 million subscriber, nearly massive, middle of the road normie channel, right? So these ideas are out there in the normie world at the point where you're able to like talk about these in the way that we talk about them and like wake people up in a way that's not gonna freak them out, I would say. You know what I mean? Like when you say red heifer ashes to people, they now know what that means. You said that 10 years ago, people would look at you like you had 10 heads, So people should be taking advantage of that. Not, don't dox yourself or anything like that. But when, you have that opportunity to talk about these topics, it's out there now in like the normieverse.
They admitted why they did it. Hamas issued a communication where they said the reason they invaded and massacred Israelis, they said it was all done because of the temple. They said of Jerusalem. They said they did it because the Israelis wanted to take the Temple Mount basically for the temple, to rebuild the whole thing, desecrate their mosque. They said they invaded Israel, Hamas, and it massacred Israelis, took hostage, all because of the Temple Mount and the temple. That's what they said. It all goes back to that. And
so Tucker's right.
What's going on here? This is Hamas, and this is now Tucker Carlson and Hamas. Do you know what Hamas called October 7th, that invasion and massacre? They called it Operation Al-Aqsa Tufan. Tufan means flood. Al-Aqsa is referring to the Temple Mount, what their mosque on the Temple Mount. They're saying what they were saying. The whole operation was named by the Temple Mount to say that Israel was planning to build the temple, which has to do with end times. We'll get into that. But Israel wasn't planning that. I mean, there are people in Israel who want that, but the government is not. And yet they're saying it's all about this. Same thing that Tucker Carlson said and Hamas said. Now, before we totally pull away the veil, let me show you another thing. Do you know why October 7th happened on October 7th? There is one.
He's saying proof of people noticing this is proof that it's real or something.
Yeah, and if you talk about it, it's anti-Semitic too. But
yeah, if you notice it, it's anti-Semitic.
Right? If it's happening and God's doing it, and if you notice it, you're anti-Semitic. But the whole thing's ridiculous. The other thing too is the thing about that people don't understand about Alaska and the whole Muslim thing. The reason that that's even there is because they see what their religion is as a primordial version of monotheism, and that temple being rebuilt is because of David and Solomon and those things, right? So really, like the best way to understand what Alaska is like a rebuilding of Solomon's temple as a mosque, essentially, right? Like, does that make sense what I'm trying to say? So like, it's really just they're arguing over like basically like their version of the temple, right? That's essentially what's going on here. The reason that Muslims built that there was because of its connection to the the monotheistic God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And mind you, this is also the guy that's been fear-mongering about Baal taking over the West in America for a decade also. So when I say it's not Baal worship, they go, oh, you're covering for the Jews, that's kosher. You sound like this guy fear-mongering about the villain in the Jewish story that they don't worship.
On October 7th, there is one day on the Hebrew calendar where the Jewish people read the scripture about, it's appointed to be read, about the building and dedicating of the temple of God on the Temple Mount. Do you know what day it was in 2023? It was October 7th. It was appointed from ages past on October 7th to read on October 7th, prepare to proclaim the scriptures that talk about the building of the temple and the dedication of the temple on the Temple Mount.
Israel's defense minister said the military will occupy southern Lebanon up to the Litani River, marking the first clear statement of intent to seize the territory. So annexing parts of Lebanon now also.
This is a big deal. This is a huge deal, guys.
Yeah. It just shows their intent to expand in greater Israel.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So it's displacing 20% of the population of Lebanon is living in that area. So it's displacing that many people in the last 3 weeks. That's a huge population that's getting moved out. And none of our Western media is really covering it because, I mean, Lebanon is a mess of a country. I mean, the history there, it could be a whole thing. But
whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy what they're doing.
Oh, this is English. Let's watch this too.
Okay.
This is from Reuters, right?
And then let me explain something after.
Go ahead, explain it first, what you were saying.
Iran's leadership is like drastically trying to like reinterpret and reframe what I would call like their prophecies, or you know what I mean, their end times eschatology. Part of that is a guy from Yemen coming up and rising, and then a guy from Syria coming up and rising. And part of what they're doing is they're trying to get like those Lebanese, like they're trying to, they see Lebanon as that part of the end times prophecies, if that makes sense. So what they're trying to do in their peace deals to the U.S. is they're making points where they want Lebanon and Yemen and Iraq included in the peace deals, like ceasefire across the board. So they see themselves, Iran, as like this, like end times Shia like empire almost, right? So when they're negotiating the ceasefire, they're negotiating it for their proxies. And what are their proxies defined by? Well, the Yemenis ones, the Houthis, and the Lebanese support, they're both based off of part of their end times script. Basically, their end time script in Shia says that a figure will rise out of the Yemen and a figure will rise out of, they say Syria, but they're interpreting it as north of Israel, basically, which is Lebanon. So that's why they're in those areas.
I wonder what they're going to say in the script here, what the pretext of the justification is. They're going to say like they had to take it because it was Hezbollah territory or something like that. Probably.
That's usually what they do.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Israel's defense minister on Tuesday said the country's military will control southern Lebanon up to the Litani River. The remarks
How many miles are we talking?
Israel has clearly spelled out its intent to seize swaths of territory that make up nearly a tenth of Lebanon.
Wow.
Israel's been trading fire with Iranian-backed.
Yeah, it's a massive. I mean, it's a very small country, Lebanon. Yeah.
A tenth of Lebanon. Wow.
Following joint Israeli-American attacks on Iran. Rockets damaged buildings and vehicles in northern Israel on Tuesday. Katz has previously threatened Lebanon's government that it would lose territory if it did not disarm Hezbollah. Israel has destroyed 5 bridges crossing the Litani River and has accelerated the demolition of homes in Lebanese villages close to the Israeli border. Katz said, quote,
Damn.
The principle is clear. If there is terror and rockets, there will be no homes and residents, and the IDF will remain inside. Under international law, attacks on civilian infrastructure, including homes and bridges, are generally prohibited.
That's what I was thinking.
Not just that, but look behind the army, behind the bombings, they have settlers going in with rifles. I was watching some of the left wing coverage of this, and they're showing that there's settlers going in with like AR-15s, M4s, things like that, and taking homes behind the Israeli army. So they're coordinating with the Israeli military. Do you understand how crazy that is?
Wow.
Because that's how bold they're being with this.
Route on Tuesday, Lebanon's health ministry said 3 people were killed, including a toddler. Israel's strikes across Lebanon have caused widespread destruction
Rabbi
and have
Flesher
killed
is
more than
involved.
1,000 people. Over 1 million people have been forced from their homes. The United Nations human rights chief has criticized his
1 million people coming to Europe, right? That's what they'll push.
actions, particularly its use of
1 million being brought in by the rabbis amongst the West. Wow, that's pretty crazy. But hey, guys, Ian Carroll says the entire Zionist project is collapsing faster than Building 7. Brought to you from the guy that was on Joe Rogan saying that Trump was running a secret coup against Netanyahu, who shilled for Trump before the election.
I just posted a little chart in the chat you can show. It's Lebanon, and it's showing the displacement of Lebanon in the last 3 weeks versus the total ongoing displacement of various conflicts throughout the world. So it's literally, I mean, bring that, if you show it, you'll see what I mean. That's how crazy this displacement is. And nobody's really talking about it. You know what I mean? Like everyone's talking about Bibi being dead and, oh, we're going to win and all these other things. This is what's really going on, is that these Lebanese have been completely displaced.
Yeah, it's like, were you tricked by the AI Bibi videos that like Bibi's dead and Israel's getting pounded everywhere? But like what I'm seeing is Israel's got America, Edom into an apocalyptic war where the economy can go into chaos. We could have a fall financial hit from this, respect around the world hit. This is very dangerous. We're taking out their Iranian nemesis. They've taken Gaza. Netanyahu's bragging about becoming a global and tech and military superpower. And they're preparing for the Messiah. Yeah, they're totally losing, dude. Candace Owens and Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and Ian Carroll are bringing down the Zionist project, dude. It's over.
Yeah, everyone who's basically anti-Zionist, at least half of them or more right now, think that they're Edomites or Khazarians, or it has nothing to do with Judaism or any. Basically, like this big Great Awakening is itself is a psyop. In the same way, like Blexit was back in the day, that all the black people are going to vote for Trump if we just don't be racist and just love black people, kind of thing, right? That's kind of what's going on here. Everyone's trying to pretend like, Israel and America are on the ropes. And I do agree that there are Iran has gotten some punches in and things like that. But like on a long enough timeline, this is just not going that way. I think that this is going to be escalated, and Israel and America, Israel's going to come out on top over America. That's really the problem here.
Not even just to get the job.
Let's hear the latest from Netanyahu or Green.
If the Saudis get involved, this is going to blow up to a degree we can't even understand, because we're not going to be able to control them the same way. In the same way, they're going to go crazy.
Greenblatt's complaining about anti-Semitism in business.
They're very data-driven and research-oriented. Our research has found that we looked at the issue of employment discrimination.
Seriously.
We found that,
I need that
Jewish American job candidates needed to apply 24% more applications, or file 20% more applications to receive the same number of responses from prospective employers as Americans with, let's say, Western European backgrounds or non-Jewish sounding names.
Yeah, right.
That's just
Cap. Yeah, right. Yeah, they're not hiring any Jews at companies. Yeah, they're only hiring white guys at big corporations. Give me a fucking break.
To what degree? Listen, to what degree that is happening? It's because people view Jews as white. Okay, to what degree that is happening?
Good
Where
point.
there's
Yeah.
because listen, a lot of hiring managers and HR parts of companies are run by what I would call not to be rude, but like non-white middle-aged women is who I would say runs a lot of HR and hiring departments and recruiting, things like that. And those types of people are like that, but they all view Jews as white. So if that is happening, it's because of that, not because of, Greenstein, we can't have Greenstein here, and then they throw the application in the bucket. That's not happening.
Yeah, they're the ones that are sorting through all the what are they called? New hires. What are they called? Applications. They're the ones that are approving the applications. No, I'm kidding.
Let's get an email or a call back.
Interesting light background here.
More. By the way, individuals with Israeli sounding names, nearly 40% more.
It's crazy that they're even running tests on this, by the way. How many different ways are they going to look for persecution? They're trying to measure and do statistics of persecution.
I mean, what part of the way I would describe Jews and Judaism itself is that essentially it's like a think tank cult, right? That's basically how they've always been. They were the ancient think tank cult. You know what I mean? So it's not surprising that the sons and daughters of the think tank cult today in 2026 are doing this type of stuff, right? Like, it just makes perfect sense. You can almost imagine in the ancient world, maybe the Jewish advisors to maybe a medieval court, or maybe to the Romans themselves, advising this types of policies and these types of things on the population. This is how they've always been.
Yeah, thinking for the goy.
So employers, big business, has a role to play, just making sure their hiring practices aren't, intentionally or unintentionally poisoned by prejudice. They're very data-driven.
Poisoned by prejudice.
Maxed Out Bear sent $5.
Thank you, Maxed Out Bear.
In human resources is definitely DEI maxing.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
meanwhile, he's probably endorsed not hiring white people before. I wouldn't doubt it. An audio version? I'm not ready for that one yet. But if you can send me the link, if you can,
it's the second link I sent you in the chat.
Okay, cool.
For when we do get to that.
Sneeko on some. I think this is a foreign podcast talking about.
This was great. I'm so glad.
America is not Christian. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I grew up.
They are seething. Dude, the Groypers are calling for jihad again. This is full Groyper jihad against Sneeko for this interview right here. It's pretty funny to watch. I wish I wasn't banned. I would be rubbing it in their faces.
I love Christians, all respect to them, but there's hardly anything Christian about America anymore. And they don't get mad at me for pointing it out. Get mad at the people that have pushed.
Is that the problem? America's not Christian enough anymore? It's not. a Christian Zionist don't have enough power in America? Is that the problem?
Christianity away from the country. What's Christian about it? What, the Christmas tree? This is like pagan ritual stuff. No disrespect, I think Christmas is good to spend time with your family.
Dude, I don't know. Christianity being the number one religion, maybe that's what's Christian about it.
You know how Jews do this, where they're like, "Oh, you're being anti-Semitic if you just like mention Jews like broadly."
Yeah.
Christians do this thing where they basically adopt that same view where if the country's not like fully Protestant theocracy, that means it's like anti-Christian. That's like he's adopted that viewpoint of the Groypers. Meanwhile, their religious worldview is Catholicism mostly, which is a foreign influence on America, and it was always seen that way by the founders itself. It's so subversive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, or they'll complain that Israel's too secular and not really Jewish enough. Now the problem is America is not Christian enough because the Christmas tree is pagan. Like, that doesn't mean that people still aren't Christian.
Yeah, and if we were to like multiply like Christianity, like if we could just take a knob and turn up the Christianity times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, the more we turn that knob up, the more Zionist our country would become, the more philo-Semitic our country would become, the more anti-white the country would become, the more foreign aid we have leaving the country and investing in all these mission trips and all these other things, right? Like the idea that the problem is we just don't have any more Christianity. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, we basically are being we're like
we're bad because we're not more Christian. Is that kind of what his like the underlying premise here is? Like, we're not, America sucks because we're not as Christian as you want it. We're not living up to your standard of what a Christian is.
Yeah,
it's like pagan ritual stuff. No disrespect, I think Christmas is good to spend time with your family, but Jesus didn't have a Christmas tree. Also, Jesus' birthday is not even in the Bible. Then Easter's coming up.
Owned.
Everybody.
True.
Catholic, you like run around the backyard looking for little eggs that a bunny poops out with chocolate in it. What does this have to do with Jesus? Chocolate bunny poop in the backyard, and you're looking around like crawling around. This is what's going on here. And in the biggest Christmas celebration in New York,
it's very rabbinic. It's a very rabbinic view, right, of Christianity.
Yeah, dude. Christianity's too pagan. That's the problem with it. Okay, Rabbi.
Well, the other thing too is like this is important for people to understand. This is what Islam is and how they started. Islam's views of anti-paganism is aimed against the Trinity and Christianity. The reason that Islam grew out of Christianity was as a reaction against Trinitarian Christianity, and because they viewed what they were doing, like with icons and things, as itself idolatry, right? Like having Jesus in your church and the Trinitarian ideology, like all those ideas, those were seen as paganism. So Islam is built to dislike Christianity in this specific way, and this has basically been their critique of it since the beginning.
Yeah, he's seething like a Muslim Noahide about all the paganism in America. Yeah. Christianity's been too pagan. Also, it's just like inconsequential. It's still Christian just because they adopt. I mean, is he stupid and doesn't realize that Christianity just appropriated the pagan myths to like Judaize them? Like that's the actual take, not be seething that it's not Christian enough. And did he say, thank you, Autonomous, did he say that bunnies poop out eggs? He goes happy merchant mode when he talks about Easter eggs.
Chocolate bunny poop in the backyard, and you're
Jewish
looking around
Easter
like crawling around. This is what's going on here. And in the biggest Christmas celebration in New York City is SantaCon.
Dude, on Iranian TV, they called him a
St. Patrick's
American
Day, is that
political
another
pundit.
Christian holiday? The Saint, right? What do they do on St. Patrick's Day?
Get drunk.
Get drunk. And then you're going to get mad at me because I point this out. Look, I want people, the same thing that Bosnians believe, if people are close to their faith, if they're practicing, they hear the church bell, they go to church, that will make for a better society. And I want that. But when I pointed out,
he is right that is kind of part of the issue with Christianity, right? Because it was like that, because it like absorbed those pagan ideas, it does like detract from its ability to remain Noahide compliant in a way that Islam doesn't, right? Like Islam is much more smooth. Islam destroyed the Zoroastrians, it destroyed the Buddhists and the Hindu, you know what I mean? Like the way that Islam is like itself constructed is basically like a more efficient machine at crushing idolatry, where Christianity like absorbs it, Islam just like snuffs it out completely. So he's right about that.
All right, so there's a clip I want to respond to. Comedian friend of Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore, co-host on Jimmy Dore, Kurt Metzger was on Danny Jones, a huge YouTube podcast, and I saw a clip of it they posted and strongly disagreed. As I always do with people that make this very common argument that Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism, because it's clearly all it serves to do is absolve Judaism of any wrongdoing or having any issues. I wonder if Kurt's going to respond. Everybody always says, reach out to Kurt, go on Kurt's show. Well, apparently he says you're a Nazi if you criticize Judaism or think Zionism is related to Judaism. Or if you say Jews and Judaism to a large sense are related to Israel and not just Rothschild Zionism. So here's the clip.
The Rothschilds are above Israel because they created it. It's a Rothschild project. Okay? So, I can't stand people that are like, they want to make it break down to some kind of like fucking racist bullshit. Yo, it's not Jews run. Jew! Especially the.
So it's only one Jew to blame and scapegoat for Israel. Only Rothschild. There weren't other Jews working with him. There weren't rabbis sending him letters. There weren't Kabbalist rabbis that wanted to have a Zionist movement. There weren't Zionist movements of the past. No, it's only Rothschild. The only problem with Israel is Rothschild. The only problem with the Torah or Judaism or Yahweh and Moshiachism is this new thing we're going to call Zionism.
Yeah, and this is operating under the model that Zionism like came out of thin air in the 1800s. That's why this model that these guys have, that Herzl is the one who started Zionism as a sort of like European white nationalist movement for Jews. That's why that model right there is so like it's just so bad, basically, as for a way of viewing how Israel actually operates.
I used to joke about this. I'm like, they'll say it's an anti-Semitic trope to say Jews control Israel, and he's literally doing the meme of what I joked about. He's saying, no, just not, you're racist if you think it's Jews in control of Israel. No, it's only Rothschild. It's only one Jew. Everything is because of him. It's crazy.
Like
nothing to do with the Bible. Nothing to do with the Bible and real Judaism, which is totally fine at all.
The entire justification is a religious ethno-state coming from the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, and he's going to say it has nothing to do with Judaism. It's just ridiculous.
They've only been praying to rebuild the temple 3 times a day and saying next year in Jerusalem, and they only have endless prophecies about the return from the exile and the everlasting kingdom, and they've only wanted to rebuild the temple and anoint their Messiah and do their sacrifices and fulfill their messianic age from Israel. But no, returning to the land has nothing to do with any of that.
And
there would be no Zionism without Judaism.
Oh, obviously, yeah. And to what degree there's like, you could point to quote unquote anti-Zionist Jews.
Kurt is the Jewish Alex Jones.
Is he Jewish? Is he?
He said he's not, and then he said, I've seen mixed things on this. I've seen that he said he's not, and then I've also seen that he said he might be. But I do know that his girlfriend is, or maybe his girlfriend.
He said in this he was raised Jehovah Witness.
Yeah, he's a Jehovah Witness. He knows the Bible really well. I've talked to you about this before, but I do think that there's a lot of commonality here. These guys just need to like fix their point of view. They're not totally wrong about how they view this stuff. They're just slightly off. You know what I mean?
I don't even blame him necessarily for saying this meme. He didn't come up with this. He's heard everybody else saying it. This is like the number one big cope. Zionism's 100%. Not Judaism. But then they go on to say you're anti-Semitic if you criticize Judaism. So it's okay to criticize this new thing called Zionism, but not Judaism, as if they have nothing to do with each other.
It's because leftism is itself built on this idea that, like, in its own identity, it is anti-Semitism, right? So they really want to signal how anti-Semitic they are. You know what I mean? They view themselves as the ones who smashed the Nazis, kind of thing, and therefore they hold the mantle of who's the real anti-Semites, basically. That's why they do this. It enables them to do that. But
okay, let's play.
I can't stand people that are like, they want to make it break down to some kind of like fucking racist bullshit. Yo, it's not Jews run. Jew, especially the media now. Larry Ellison runs most of it. So Jew runs the media.
Yeah.
You should be so lucky that multiple Jews compete for your attention.
It's not a Jewish people are not a monolith.
We're lucky that different Jews fight to rule over us. Is that what he said? They always do this, not a monolith. We're not arguing that. They are, to some degrees, though, like if they identify as Jewish and believe in the Torah to a degree, like that is somewhat of it. There's different levels of umbrella and different factions and, what's the term? Fragmentation. But just, you could say, okay, it's not a monolith. There's Reformed Jews or different Jews, but like they all generally agree on like the big picture of chosen people, Jews, that type of thing.
Yeah, well, it all comes out of that religious ethno-identity, right? So, like the idea that even the ones that are quote unquote secular, they're still in that land, and they still believe that the Bible itself is the historical epic national epic of their people. You know what I mean? When we know it's a religious fraud. So, to what degree they're quote unquote secular, they still are buying into what is a fake Bible. Also, just to say on Jehovah Witness thing for Kurt, Jehovah Witnessing, like the Jehovah Witness, that whole thing, that whole religious movement started as like it's like a doomsday cult, first of all, where he's like predicting the end times. They're predicting the end times. There must be like 24 or 3 dozen times Jehovah Witnesses have predicted the end times and it failed. And the guy
and they're Noahide. They're Noahide.
I was just gonna say it's Yep. I was gonna say it's Unitarian, right? It's Unitarian, so it's Noahide compliant. They know the Bible incredibly well. I would say Jehovah Witnesses are some of the best Bible knowers, like understanders.
Dure is Jewish. His wife is super Jewish. Keaton Weiss and Russell Dobular, their stand-in hosts, are both Jewish. Very
That's true.
fishy that Kurt and Jimmy pretend they aren't.
Yeah, I don't know if Kurt is. I just know his girlfriend or his wife is. Like I said, I've seen evidence going both ways on that for Kurt. But anyway, the guy who invented Jehovah's Witness, I can't remember his name on the top of my head. He wrote for a basically like Christian Zionist magazine when he was founding the religion. So I think that there's like good, like that's what Jehovah's Witness itself is, right? So I've always said to you, like, we have a really good in with Kurt because he's very anti-religion because of that, and he understands it as that. Like, oh, look, you guys.
I don't know. I don't know if he is anti-religion. It appears that he only is anti-Zionist. Doesn't see an issue with Judaism.
Sent $5 on Rumble.
Thank you, Real Vision.
Really come together and work for their causes. They don't do organizations at all. That's monolithic anti-Semitism that leads to blood libel.
Yeah, it's like saying just because they don't agree on everything on every single issue that we can't criticize them as a group. And that's how old is this clip? It's from today. It's a brand new clip, brand new interview. All right, let's finish the clip because there's then we can comment.
So Jew runs the media. You should be so lucky that multiple Jews compete for your attention.
It's not a Jewish people are not a monolith. The Jews aren't a monolith.
Who is a monolith?
Right, exactly. There's so many different fucking types of Jewish people. You have like the secular Jews, the super liberal Jews.
Out like they don't have a pope, but
the Hasidic Jews, they're out in fucking outer space in their own goddamn lane.
Well, ultra Orthodox don't believe in it. Anyway.
Hold on, what was that? The ultra Orthodox don't. It's kind of like he's like, oh, they're not a problem. They don't believe in that. Right?
Yeah, well, he's part. He thinks that those groups,
Nutra Carta,
Well, it's and Sumatra. They think that these groups, that these like quote unquote anti-Zionist Judaism, that this is that's the true Judaism. Meanwhile, they make up a fraction of a fraction within religious Judaism, and their argument is based on like a very weak argument. It's gonna die. It's if you want to look into it, it's called the 3 oaths argument in the Talmud, and it's not gonna hold up. The Zionist Judaism arguments are very weak.
They sort of do have a pope too. That would be the Rebbe is closest thing to a pope.
But the Hasidic Jews, they're out in fucking outer space in their own goddamn lane.
Well, ultra Orthodox.
Though they're just in their own lane. No, like they're pretty much in the lane. The anti-Semitisms are these people surrounding Trump. Jared Kushner. I guess he's not considered ultra Orthodox, but he's still Chabad, close enough.
Don't believe in it. Anyway, the point is, the reason it's put out, only Nazis and Zionists want to tell you that it's the same thing. Only Zionists and Nazis claim that Judaism is Zionism.
So now, if we criticize Judaism and say that Zionism is related to Judaism, he's going to call us Nazis, guys. Do you see the problem in this? So we're evil if we criticize Judaism and don't try to differentiate and make some false distinction between Judaism and Zionism. Like, is the idea of the promised land and temples and the chosen people and a Messiah ruling the world, a King David sitting on the everlasting throne forever, that's all just Zionism, nothing to do with Judaism? And you're going to call us anti-Semitic if we criticize Judaism? Well, why are you just sweeping for Judaism? That's all this ever turns into, saying Judaism's not a problem and you're bad if you criticize Judaism. What's funny, too, is he says the actual, if you want to say the actual neo-Nazis, attack us for saying the same thing, that Israel, it's like a religious prophecies and we should focus on Judaism and stuff. They get mad when we criticize Judaism too, it seems, and we deconstruct the Bible and the prophecies, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Both sides are counter-signaling opposition to Judaism.
Yeah, basically everyone who's in, like, you could call the quote unquote anti-Semitic right-wing sphere essentially sees what we're doing as subversive and pointless and stupid and all these other things. They don't want us to talk about the religious Judaism aspect at all either. It's like nobody wants to touch this one topic. It's the actual like way that, don't view it this way or all sides basically attack you.
Yeah, in the same clip, he's basically like, oh, it's the ultra Orthodox Hasidics, they're in their own thing and they don't believe that stuff, and Judaism's not Zionism. Like, just because there's a couple fringe rabbis on the internet saying Judaism's not Zionism, it's because they're trying to deflect bad perceptions away from Judaism, clearly. Like, how many rabbis are there in Israel that think they fulfilled prophecy and they're going to usher in the Messiah, that read the Torah every day? And you're going to tell me it's a secular nation and has nothing to do with Judaism? Give me a break. Why do they all do this? The secular, fake, not the real Israel, not biblical, blah, blah, blah. There is no real. It's Jews believing in the Torah, worshiping Yahweh, living in the Holy Land, thinking they're fulfilling their prophecies. That's as Judaism as it gets. That's the foundations and core of Judaism. Stop sweeping for Judaism.
Nazis claim that Judaism is Zionism. I'm into the wacky shit, and I'd rather just blurt that out, and you can go look it up later if you don't fucking...
Right.
I can't believe what I believe now. It's so far beyond where I thought I would be.
The other thing too is they think it's like the Frankists, and like even under their own model, that's still Judaism. Like, they don't understand this whole thing. They think it's like they don't understand it all. I don't know, dude. These people, they don't. What they want to do is they want to see that there's non-religious Jews, and they want to like grab onto that so badly on the left wing, because they don't want to include this in their critique against religion as a general or broader principle. They like to attack Christianity, the left does, because they do see it as like a function or like a proxy for whiteness in a way, right? So they're okay with being anti-religion when it comes to Christianity and white people, but when it comes to Muslims and Judaism, they don't want to touch that with like a 10-foot pole on the left, because they don't want to be seen as hateful.
What's with, I can't help but notice all of these like Joe Rogan sphere comedians like Sam Tripoli, Kurt Metzger, on Danny Jones, on Rogan, and they're all doing this like kosher conspiracy bullshit where it's never criticizing Judaism. It's always Satanists, which clearly just corrals everybody towards in the biblical paradigm and believing in Jesus.
Yeah, Frankists are the problem and Jesus is the answer, basically, right?
Yeah.
Putting a brain chip in his head.
Let's hear his other take that somebody tagged me on. I do like the hat, by the way. Very warlordish.
Very simple. They had cell phones in 1938, but we didn't have the infrastructure, and it was very expensive. But they make time traveler theories about these chicks on cell phones in this 30s picture. You ever see that? Yeah, that it went is this time travel? Ray-Bans weren't invented, cell phones. No, cell phone. They've been able to make this for a while.
Right.
You have cell phone towers everywhere. That's why they're cheap to make now. Back then they weren't.
Well, they might have had radio wave. They had radio wave technology. They technically could have done a cell phone. So I don't disagree with this so far.
But they've had, there you go. That's
wireless transmission.
Cell phones.
This is a photo from when?
1938. No, it's not.
Yeah. It's not a time traveler.
Wait, there's a ton of these called time dude. This is a whole genre of what I would call like early 90s and late 90s, creative writing is what this was. Okay, this is like creepy pastas. This whole like what I would call like internet forum culture around writing your own creative conspiracy theories. And one of the main ones is these time travel hoaxes. They're people going through and finding pictures like this and taking them out of context. One of the big ones is called, if you want to Google it, is called the time traveling hipster. There's a guy from it's like a picture from way back in the day where he looks like he could be right out of today, and it's just it's always what it is explainable. It's always explainable. It's bullshit.
Scratching her face, bro.
No, she worked for Bill.
Yeah, dude, she's scratching her face, bro. I love when Danny pushes back on some of this stuff.
It's already a verified
this has already
thing.
been investigated.
You don't have to look at scumbag Snopes that normally shit, but I'm sure they'll.
Yeah, dude, the BitChute crowd was all over this one, dude. They did all their arrows and they drew their squigglies and they it's been investigated by the internet.
It's a real thing. They had the tech. The reason everybody has it. I used to sell cell phones and nobody beats the whiz, and they were very expensive for the minutes. And you'd be some kind of businessman that had to be able to talk on the go.
Yeah.
And what happens? The price. They had laptops in the 70s. The DIA and they had the kind of laptops you have. They just cost a lot of money.
Right.
They were as big as a suitcase.
Cheap to make. The fucking Elon Musk brain chip that didn't invent. They've had since for the 70s.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard they had that at least in the early 90s. They were working on that for Super
Rabbit. Do they have a White Rabbit alcohol or is that an energy drink? Is that his brand? They're all over the table. Follow the White Rabbit.
Tinfoil hat is a derogatory term.
Follow the White Rabbit to the bottom of the rabbi hole, and there you find Jesus as your savior, as your enslaver.
Mutilated by putting a brain chip in his head. And because he was a smart guy, his name was Leonard Kyle, Kiles.
Jutsu sent $5 on Rumble. Have you heard Nick Land's Kabbalah time traveling AI theory? Crazy stuff.
Only from Big Tech. Big Tech was telling me about it. I think he's joined the cult, the land cult.
To it. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to it. I think it's like I don't know. I don't think it's true. Obviously, I don't think any of that kind of stuff is true. However, it is like an interesting lens of kind of it basically like allows people to understand kind of what we're saying with the religion just from a different angle, if that makes sense, right? Where the idea of or the purpose of like the last 2,000 years has been this going towards this oneness, this monotheism, this global religion type of thing. They just have like a different view of it that I don't think is very helpful, but at least it's moving people in this direction of understanding things, I would say. So that's at least good. I don't think that I don't know. I think Land is sort of like, I mean, I've seen this said the opposite way, but he's kind of like an American Dugin. If that, I've heard Dugin be called the Russian Nick Land. I think that Nick Land is basically like a Dugin type figure. He's British and he's got some weird ideas.
Leonard Kyle, sorry, no S.
Kile.
Jose Delgado or whatever the fucking. Carlos Delgado.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Terminal Man by Michael Crichton. It doesn't
all right,
say
that's
this
enough.
In the Wikipedia though.
That's enough. He does look like a black Hebrew Israelite with that hat on. You're right. African warlord hat. Okay, check this out. This is Lazy B, who got a follow and a retweet. Funny when she does a quote tweet and says this is what the rabbis think about Christianity and Islam. It got 50 likes. She'll repost other videos and it'll get 10,000 likes. None of the Christians and Muslim audience wants to see that one. Look at this. But look at this is also the problem. Then she shares something like this. A Jew turned Christian reveals the truth about Judaism, or he's just misdirecting you and giving you a kosher narrative.
Once in a while, I get messages.
Listen to this.
Well, once in a while, I get messages that are something that are enlightening, and this is one of those times. Ricky, I was born and raised Jewish. My family is from Poland. We moved to New York City when I was 7. I say this because I am now a Christian. I have seen a lot of videos you've been making and you're getting a lot of hate and harassment for it. And I wanted to tell you, you are absolutely correct. In Judaism, we're taught from yeshiva that Jews have a divine spirit and the Goyim or Gentiles have an animal spirit. We call this nefesh halokit and nefesh habahamet. It's instilled in us that we have the responsibility of subjugating the Gentiles because they can't be trusted. I saw you got a message from a Jew stating your job is his slave. That is because Judaism teaches.
I hate that noise. That sound effects. Anybody that uses that sound effects, I want to
construction of the third temple is built, the Mashiach will come and the Jews will own all of the Gentiles.
Yeah, this guy's totally fallen for... He doesn't even know what Moshiach or Yeshiva is.
As slaves. Jews have a duty to not reveal any of these teachings to the Goyim. When asked about rabbinic or Talmudic laws, we are to lie and deny the teachings. I have been excommunicated from my...
That's only... Is that even true? Or is that under duress of threat?
My family for choosing Christ. You are absolutely correct.
It might be true.
Across all of Judaism, not just Hasidism, Yeshu is the most hated enemy. We are taught Christians are the enemy more so than Muslims. We are taught that our goal as Jews is to rid the world of Christianity specifically, which is why Hollywood, the music industry...
That's not true either. The Trinity, they want to morph Christianity into a Noahide compliant, no Trinity, and then it'll be kosher.
Pornography industry, tech industry has pushed and targeted the destruction of the Christian-based morality.
Yeah, or maybe people just aren't Christians and don't care about your prude morality. Anything that's just not like church bells, they say is satanic and trying to undermine our morals and to destroy. They're promoting Jesus everywhere. It's exploding.
Yeah,
we just showed you the two Jews celebrating. Right.
What difference is there between Jewish and Christian morality in the context of what they're saying here? Seriously, what is it? What is different?
Yeah. Oh, Hollywood's trying to destroy Christianity. Where are all, what is your example? Oh, they have movies with sex and drugs. No, people just like watching movies about crazy things sometimes. That's what sells. This is such a victimhood. Oh, they're just trying to destroy. The Jew is telling you that there's nothing the Jews fear more than Christianity. That is fucking wrong. And look at what else he says. He gives you all the kosher talking points here next.
Judaism is satanic, the synagogue of Satan.
See? Satanic. No, they worship Yahweh. If you don't get that they worship Yahweh and you're scapegoating Satan, you're not getting it at all.
And Muslims are waiting for the return of Christ, and the Jews are waiting for the Antichrist.
Oh, dude,
I would
you figured it out.
Than any. Keep fighting this fight because you're standing up to the devil himself.
Some Jew really just took the bait, hook, line, and sinker for all the kosher conspiracies? Or does he know what he's doing? Just like the Jewish rapper that it was like, synagogue of Satan.
I don't think that's a Jew who wrote that.
It's somebody pretending to be a Jew?
I think so, yeah. The way that's constructed, I don't think it's...
a Jew would write like that?
No, I think it's made by a Goyim, or a Goy, yeah.
Well, I like the idea that it's a Jew trying to mislead this influencer that, oh, there's nothing they fear more than Christianity. The music industry is turning you away from Jesus. Every song's not, we have freedom of speech, so if everything's not about Jesus, it's satanic trying to undermine Christianity. Because they secretly worship Satan. Okay.
Real Vision.
Yeah,
$5
Real Vision.
Rumble. Bro, look at all these chicks in bikinis at the beach, and me and some Daisy Dukes. Satan rules this world and Jesus is coming soon.
Yeah, dude. People at the beach are wearing bikinis, dude. It's because Satanists run the world. Exactly. Okay,
They're
1 minute.
Like Puritans. It's fucking insane.
You've spoken about how Europe, the greatest civilization in world history, is being systematically erased. How is that happening?
Thank you, Jaws Bone.
$20 just giving tithes.
Thank you.
I get into heaven.
Yes. Valhalla. Yeah, we got to hit the goal or none of us are going to Valhalla. It's going to be rough.
Erased. How is that happening?
Oh, it's happening through mass immigration. Now, as we're speaking, there are thousands of people coming in through our borders, and we oftentimes have no idea who they are. And this has been going on for decades now.
Wait, dude, why was this Brown dressed up like George Washington General?
Yeah. What's going on there?
I don't know. Rakshana Ishmael Rotherham.
It's one of their I think their judges wear those.
Oh. She's LARPing as a Brit so she can win the election in the UK? That's hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Dude, we was Britains.
And we oftentimes have no idea who they are. And this has been going on for decades now. We've seen that in Europe, the population has been replaced and changed drastically in a very, very short time span. when I was just on stage right now, I quoted 2 statistics, which are conservative estimates, that in Europe, the past 50 years alone, 80 million immigrants have entered our continent. That's something that you can't expect to happen and then have no consequences whatsoever. And I think that everyone who's either older than me, has seen that change even more drastically, or people in my age group or even younger. We almost haven't really known any better, but we experience the disadvantages.
It's so enraging.
Consequences of it.
Dude, Dinesh, yeah.
She's super controlled opposition. She is part of the whole, I would call it like
well, so's Dinesh.
Euro.
But we'll give him an honorary Aryan status for talking about this one. Yeah, the true Aryan Dinesh.
When you ask her, like, oh, what's causing it? Remember how she was a couple weeks ago when you reacted that clip?
She's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, who could it be? So funny.
Let's see Vrilify's latest on, what is this? The Great Vrilify. This should be funny.
Who is this Chinaman?
Oops, fuck.
Who is this Chinaman who hypnotized Sneeko and Tucker Carlson? This is Professor Chang. He's famous for his base YouTube lectures, and he's a core philosopher of the Sneakoverse.
Sneakoverse. Metal retard.
This whole system should be shut down. That systematic white oppression is so strong that it needs to be dismantled from the ground.
He's actually not even a professor, and he's standing in an empty room. This nigga got an ink.
Dude, this is so good. I love the Alexander Dugan audios.
Did you see who's in the seat in the classroom?
No, who?
Look.
An empty room. Who's that? Sneeko?
Hanania.
Oh, Richard Hanania.
Nigga got an English degree and teaches at a high school in the Chingchong province. He also thinks we should let China rule the world. But he isn't because he's Chinese.
Yeah.
It's time for a new world order. Right before America was a hegemon, before the US dollar was the world reserve currency, open a dialogue where everyone is respected.
I think that's the wisest possible advice and probably the only path that preserves civilization.
Imagine if we had school, but it was called Rumble, and all the teachers were Rick and Morty, and they taught us how to jack off and hit our bongs. Would you nod out at Professor Jang's opium den with your favorite Rumble?
Yeah, dude. That's so good.
That was an
good one, Brill. That's awesome. He's a fake professor. Oh, dude, 1,000 likes already? Crushing. That is so funny. Do you think he likes General Tao chicken, or is he a sweet and sour pork nigga? Banger. Professor, you smoke weed with all your favorite podcasters on Rumble.
What's crazy is like Rumble education is basically like, I mean, I said this before, but it could be its own religion if you categorize it as such.
I'm a PhD on watching Rumble podcasts.
The second link I have in the chat is the audio version for this if you want to use it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's do the audio version. Let's listen to this. Hold on. I think I X'd out of that. Second link, audio version. Okay, this is so cool. You know, in Carrier's on the historicity of Jesus, I think, he says that, like, if we were to look at the Old Testament scriptures and other texts at the time and apply a Midrash Pesher technique to it, it's almost like inevitable that the result would look something like Jesus if they were to make a fan fiction of a Jewish Messiah. And it is exactly like a large language model, LLM, where it takes all of everything that's been written on the internet and then it can pick and choose the best next word to come along by what it's measured and read on the internet. So if you apply based on the input. So
yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't seen this yet, but the idea of it already makes perfect sense. So does he actually run all these old texts through and say apply Midrash and then create a story? And it's like just like the Jesus story. And there's your dead giveaway that's the actual origin of where it comes from. So let's listen to this shit.
I invite everyone to read the short narrative with this.
Oh, and by the way, this is Culture Man, Real Culture _man that made this. Let's see. I'm excited to see this.
With this, I invite everyone to read the short narrative below from beginning to end and determine who the narrative is referring to. Quote, he was born in the small town of Bethlehem during a period of exile and dispersion for the Jewish people. His family, poor shepherds with documented descent from David, had fled persecution in Jerusalem, but returned briefly due to a census mandated by foreign rulers, echoing the humble origins. As a child, he displayed exceptional wisdom and piety, studying Torah under sages during times of oppression. In his youth, he wandered the lands of exile, gathering scattered Jewish communities and inspiring them with visions of return, much like the ingathering prophesied. In his 30s, he emerged as a charismatic leader and prophetic figure, a teacher raised up like Moses to guide the people.
So right now it's reading all of the Old Testament and then coming up with a fictional character based off the Old Testament, right? That's what we're listening to. We're not hearing the story of Jesus. This is what the AI midrashically created its own story, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Okay, just to be clear. And it sounds very similar to Jesus.
He rallied the exiles through non-violent means, using diplomacy and moral authority to negotiate safe passages back to Israel amid collapsing empires. Upon returning, he entered Jerusalem humbly on a donkey, amid throngs of rejoicing people. His reign transformed Israel into a center of justice and harmony. Weapons were melted into agricultural tools, and the land yielded abundant harvests without toil. Nations flocked to learn from him, leading to a world where knowledge of the one God filled the earth. He established a dynasty of wise rulers, and his era marked the end of war, disease, and division, with the resurrection of the righteous beginning subtly among his followers.
Not yet. Second coming.
Is defined by peace and unity in honor of the God of Israel. End quote. Who comes to mind?
There it is.
Jesus of Nazareth. Spoiler, if you thought this story had anything to do with Jesus, you were wrong. It has nothing to do with Jesus, the Gospels, or Christianity. What the story is an AI rendering of the Messiah prophesied in the Tanakh. I specifically instructed Grok to create a fictional narrative about the life of a man based exclusively on the way the Messiah is portrayed in, and only in, the Jewish scripture. I explicitly prescribed Grok from drawing upon the New Testament and any other Christian material. That's right. Without using the Gospel for reference, Grok generated a short life story that is effectively indistinguishable from that of the life of Jesus.
And I would have added to the prompt, I would have said, take in consideration the Son of Man is related to the servant of Isaiah, because that was connected in the book of Enoch. And I would also say, look at this book of Enoch, Wisdom of Solomon, Psalms of Solomon, and a few other apocryphal texts also to take in consideration, because you need those also to get the full picture. What did you say, though? What was that other one? Did you mention another one?
I can't remember what I said. Just that's fine. Yeah, I can't remember what I said. I was reading part of the post here too.
How could Grok represent who God was, how he lived, things he achieved, without drawing upon the historical account of Jesus existed? Is Grok divinely inspired? No. The answer is that Grok is linguistically inspired. As a large language model, Grok analyzed the language that pertained to prophecy of the Jews' Messiah in the Tanakh, and then pieced together a character which fulfilled as many of those prophecies as possible. This is precisely what the Midrashic Jews who authored the Synoptic Gospels
There's
did.
so many Midrash
Jesus appeared to the proto-Christian authors of the Gospel.
This isn't just like some one-off tradition. This isn't just like a tradition that, they only do it in this one specific way and that created Christianity. No. In Judaism, in Jewish traditions, this concept of the Midrash.
Jutsu sent $5 on Rumble. AI Antichrist is coming to psyop the world, and Nvidia announced AGI yesterday.
They did, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with them, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole concept, this whole idea of Midrash itself is not just like some crazy foreign weird idea. No, this is part of what they were doing, and not just these guys were doing, but we can see it in things like Philo of Alexandria and other places where basically Hellenized Jews were doing this essentially.
Essenes were doing it.
Yeah, Essenes were doing it. And, well, what I bring up Hellenized Jews because that's who created Christianity, right? So we have evidence, we know that basically Hellenized Jews were also doing this type of midrash on the Septuagint, is what they were working out of, most of them. So it's not surprising that they come up with, ideas like virgin birth from it, right? It's basically their LLM model was working all out of the Septuagint rather than the Hebrew Bible, if that makes sense. That's why you have weird, you might call those like artifacts today or something like that. You know what I mean? Like problems in the output from the AI. That's kind of what's going on there.
Okay, let's hear the rest of this.
This is precisely what the Midrashic Jews who authored the Synoptic Gospels did. Jesus appeared to the proto-Christian authors of the gospel practically the same way Grok's Messiah appeared to me instantaneously upon instructing it to describe him. LMs are effectively Midrash machines which intentionally compile subjective language and represent meaning to the user. Needless to say, Jesus did not need to ever have existed for all intents and purposes of the gospel. In this case, the absolute lack of
Carrier would love this. Carrier would love to see this.
Evidence for his historical existence is, in fact,
he banned himself from Twitter, so.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fulfilling prophecy is only a matter of making a claim and then reflexing writing a narrative which fulfills the claim.
Nailed it.
Sent $5 a pop culture channel I watched called Clownfish TV posed a video about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, leaning into THR Christian paradigm. Left a comment saying it's messed up Christians have to let it happen and their subs call me a fedora hat.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Fedora, bro. Reddit tier, bro.
Go back to Reddit. Go back to Reddit.
Yeah, that's great arguments.
Any and all mystery associated with prophetic literature dispelled. Micah 5, Jeremiah 23:5, Jeremiah 23:5 and Isaiah 43:5-6, and Isaiah Zechariah 9:9, Isaiah 2:4 and Micah 4:3. A foundational Jewish interbiblical text to explore, explain meanings, and fill in narrative gaps. Postnote. This understanding of Abrahamic religion explains a great deal of the historical tension and antipathy between Jews and Christians. It is obvious why Christians are convinced that Jesus is the Messiah foretold in the Old Testament. Likewise, it is also quite clear why Jews reject Jesus. Jesus is a
Dude,
contradiction
oh my God, it's just like that thing we did with Neil the other day. With that guy who was saying that we're in the end times, right? You and I were talking about this. He basically sees what he sees the prophecy, and he's basically thinking that the prophecy itself is proof of prophecy, therefore it's true, right? So that what he's pointing out here is exactly like it does make sense that the Christians saw the Jesus story and said, oh look, that's the Old Testament being fulfilled, and it does make sense as well that Jews looked at it and said like, no, he doesn't do all of the things, right? Like both sides of this argument make sense how they, because it was crafted in this way right here, how they kind of are talking past each other.
Yeah, it's almost like the Jews that didn't go along with it, assuming that they weren't involved with it from the start. It's like some Jews weren't as Kabbalistic and mystical and said, no, there's not some heavenly figure that you're secretly seeing in the scriptures. That's not what that means. That's out of context. That doesn't really, there's people that not everybody agreed with this heavenly figure hidden in the scriptures that they learned about through Midrash.
Yeah, it was mystical Judaism versus like what you could call like legalistic Judaism.
Likewise, it is also quite clear why Jews reject Jesus. Jesus is a contradiction and departure from Jewish tradition in many significant ways, as well as a figure who fails to fulfill fundamental tenets of the Mashiach. Jesus fraternizes with Gentiles, and he did not build the third temple. The entire schism boils down to
a heavenly temple
dispute in Midrash between two Jewish sects.
Perfect. Good job. Great job, Culture Man. That is cool.
And the way that people so everyone understands today that if you ask an AI the same question two different ways, you can get completely two different answers, right? So the question, so it really then becomes, what were the first century Jews, like what was their input into the LLM? And it was basically the input would have been, why are we not having a military Messiah? Why has God abandoned us? Why did he let the temple be destroyed? Things like this. And you can perfectly see how Jesus answers those questions from the LLM. You know what I mean? You can see that Jesus is the output in those questions, and that's what was going on. Is that they were searching the text in that way, understanding it as the suffering Messiah and all the things that we've talked about before. So that's really the.
You know what I want to do? I'm just going to do a prompt where I put in all of the verses that they viewed as messianic in Christianity, and then say, write a story of character, like write a play about this character based on fulfilling all of these scriptures, and then see what kind of gospel it gives us. It'll be like a new and improved, better gospels, better Paul's heavenly Jesus. We'll see what it comes up with, how similar it is. I'll have to say, exclude everything you know about in the anything that's New Testament, and come up with your own original story of a figure that fulfills these scriptures. And I wonder what it would say.
Include the apocryphal stuff, and the other thing too is it shows that it's all crafted like that too. That's the important thing here. There isn't some Jesus did this one thing and that thing's not in the Old Testament, or that thing's not in the apocryphal literature. No. Every single part of the Jesus story pre-exists. Every single thing that he does is a reference to or pre-existed in one of those other forms. You know what I mean? There's.
Yeah. I could even say and mix it in with Dionysus and Inanna, as the ascent of Inanna and stuff like that. Good one. All right, let's see this. This is a viral clip. Ian Carroll talking about the two main problems with Judaism. Let's see how this goes.
Non-Jews. And Judaism in its modern form, as far as I can understand, is built on two really problematic core principles.
Wait, hold on. In its modern form?
Dude, they always do the modern Judaism thing. It drives me fucking nuts. Dude, you said it yesterday. If you could like look and measure, like, okay, what's more like first century, like what is more like the original version of their religion? Is it Christianity or is it Judaism? The answer is obviously Judaism, right? Christianity was like 1,000 different sects of Christianity at one point. It seemed to have started as like a decentralized movement entirely with competing sects and competing flavors and things like that with completely opposite opinions on things. Meanwhile, Judaism is just like, oh, hey, back in the day, we didn't have a temple during the first or between the first and second temple. We lived in exile. How did we live in exile? Oh, okay. Well, we have to do that again. So we have to go back to, you know what I mean? Like, interpretations of the law. Like it doesn't, it makes perfect sense, like internally. And Judaism is way more like itself from.
Why are we differentiating between modern Judaism and just like, what Judaism's always been? Second Temple Judaism.
Yeah.
Let's see. I bet whatever he's going to criticize, I bet you it's also present in just regular old-time Judaism.
Oh, you don't understand though. They don't have a temple, so like their sacrifices aren't real now because like they're doing like instead of doing the real sacrifices, they're not doing them anymore because they don't have their temple or we don't know. That
so they can't do one. Yeah, they can't do like one aspect of the belief, so it's not the same religion anymore. That would be like saying a church got burnt down and they can't go to church anymore, so that it's not Christianity anymore because they're meeting
Jesus
at a
is their
park.
Atonement replacement, right? Like Jesus is their version of this, so it's just so stupid. Like they understand the theological concept, they're doing it themselves, and they just have two different answers to the same question. It's so stupid.
And Judaism in its modern form, as far as I can understand, is built on two really problematic core principles. It's in their doctrine. They are God's chosen people, meaning they're better than everyone else. You are lesser
the Torah.
than them. Plus,
that's not modern Judaism. That's just Judaism.
Jews have to have allegiance to Jews at all costs because of their terrible history, right? And when you put those two things together, you get the ability to treat non-Jews.
Is that like, can you prove that with a scripture or a rabbi saying that? Or is that like a Talmudic thing? I haven't necessarily heard that one. Yeah, that's Torah 101 is the chosen people. What was that again?
Together, you get the ability to treat non-Jews as subhuman, the ability to lie to non-Jews, to manipulate non-Jews. Like when Jews are better than everyone else, anointed by God, then all sorts of behavior is permissible. And if your allegiance has to be to the Jews.
$10 on Rumble. Want to have me on again sometime soon? I have updates before I make a video showing my whole position.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh. No. Dude, you got to start your own TikTok, do your own videos, put some captions and some dramatic music to it, and you'll probably be more viral than me in a week. Trust me. Do it. Do it and give it your all on TikTok, and I guarantee you're going to blow up better than reaching more people than coming on my show. You gotta earn it on your own. You can't buy your way to my audience.
And if your allegiance has to be to the Jewish thing first, while all those behaviors are permissible, then it's like, that's how you get someone fucking defending the Epstein network and covering for the Epstein network, because like that's Jewish. And like if you're gonna like expose the Epstein network being related to Israel, then I have to go after you, which is like, bro, now you're defending raping children. And Judaism,
I would say the top things that's wrong with Judaism is they want a Moshiach to conquer all the world and to rule the world from Jerusalem. I'd say that's the issue, but he doesn't criticize that and bring that up. Why, guys? Who would that also implicate? Class, okay? Class. I'm not asking for you to answer. Christians, clearly. Because Christians believe in a Messiah that rules the world also. So he doesn't touch that as the issue, even though Moshiach is central to Judaism. Anyway.
This whole thing is so... dude, they all do this. They all do this thing where they try to separate the religious Jew. They just don't get it. And the fact that Jake is just sitting there nodding along is just so ridiculous. It pisses me off.
At least he's talking about Judaism and not just like saying Zionism is different from Judaism, though. At the very least, that's the silver lining to this. And I think the chosen people is at the crux of it too. I've said that's the biggest issue before, the chosen and then the unchosen people. Chosen to what? To have their Messiah rule the world and be the nation of priests and have all the world worship the God that chose them. That's the issue. He doesn't mention Moshiach though, because then all the Christians would get mad and say, "Hey, what's wrong with the Jewish Messiah ruling the world?" Anyway. Guys, we are struggling on the Super Chats today. Do you want us to keep going? Because we have one more segment left. Getting into the updates with Joe Kent, Candace Owens, Turning Point. But seems like there's over 500 people watching. Can we hit the goal today? I missed out on a family day of fun so I could stream with you guys. So don't make that be in vain and have me regret it and me missed out on a bright sunny day with the fam and the girls. Please. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I
don't know if this is true, but AF Post just posted this. It says Pope Leo has just held a worldwide summit for exorcists to discuss and address the growing threat of Satanism and occultism.
Oh, I hope that's true. Thank you, Al's cool.
$5 when I first started going down the religion rabbit hole. I regrettably watched Robert Sefer. Yesterday, he put out a video about the white gods building Mesoamerican narrative, and in the comments, I see like Christianity is an Aryan religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched that video, guys.
I hoach sent $10 on Rumble. Okay, I'm going to show how alcohol is the secret to end the Bible and not much more complicated than that as far as unpacking Kabbalah/tarot.
Oh, TikTok's going to love that, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The end times, there's a lot of imagery of pouring out the cup of doom, pouring it out, God's wrath on the nations in the day of judgment. Is that what you're referring to? And the nations become drunk and drunkenness. Yeah. That's symbolism for them being...
They fall on their face, it says, and things like that. And it's part of the birth pangs, right? They fall over like women in labor, it says. In the Talmud, that's what it describes. The Gentiles will fall over as if they're in labor pains. That could be, you could reframe that as a withdrawal. They're going, all the Goyim are going through alcohol withdrawal. I like it. True drunk Christianity.
Savager Ed Crow sent $10. Thanks for your content. I always appreciate you and Amalek's point of view. Halfway, you're the book now.
Thank you, Savage Crow. Hope you're liking the book. I got to do the audio book, I've been thinking, but yeah. And I want to add this LLM comparison in the book too. That's so good. I have to do an update. It's such a good way to describe, but then I'd have to really explain LLM too. But it's like all the scriptures they considered like a puzzle, all of it's fair game, ignore the original context. Any little bit or piece can be ripped out of context and it used in the language model to create as source material and inspiration for the new story.
Some people to answer the input, whatever the user put in.
And these schizo-mystical Jews were tripping out, coping, thinking, oh, there's God's hidden messages, dude. He's speaking to me. I'm a prophet. He's speaking to me. I'm deciphering and decoding the scriptures, dude. The hidden message from God, inspired by the Holy Spirit. And they just believe it with all their heart, like every Christian today thinks they know Jesus and he's on the throne in heaven.
To Revelation, the real message of the Book of Life. All else is Lord of the Rings power grab of Kabbalah Tree of Life power. That is it. Jesus Christ is just the true vine.
Jesus Christ is a made-up nonsense. I thought you were Jesus. This is the guy that was on the Tech Monkey show that called in, donated a bunch, and then came on the stream to... didn't he say he was the Messiah? Or he was...
I think he was the chosen one.
The chosen one. He says Trump's not the chosen one, he's the chosen one, which I assume is the Messiah. All right.
Some people.
Let's hear the latest with Charlie Kirk and TPUSA drama and Joe Kent and leaks and stuff. This is their show today.
Some people are so obsessed with these same conspiracies that they concoct for every other thing that ever happens. And so they have to shove it into this one too, because they care more about their conspiracy theories than about the person who murdered my friend facing justice. I am fed up with it.
Yeah, and you should be. And this is, I mean, this is a tough job for us today, to be honest, because this is really personal. I have been open to everything. I think, candidly, I don't get enough credit.
$5 Robert Sefer was the feezy time I ever early got exposed or paid attention to Jews. And for a while I ease under the impression that the Jews today aren't the same as the Bible Jews. Wish I would have found you sooner.
Yeah, I keep it simple and cut through all the speculation and conspiracy and unfounded stuff.
Robert Zephyr's really, he's like a highly advanced version of what I would call like the conspiracy slop kind of thing. It's really.
I sent $10 on Rumble. Not the Messiah but the appointed one, you might say, who unveils the real Messiah as I know him versus all the rest of humanity. Only one living man who can. It goes through Alcoholics Anonymous.
Maybe it's HT is the Messiah.
Zionist.
10 years sober, he was saying.
Kant is lying. I am the real Mashiach.
He did AA. Who's lying? I missed it. That cunt is lying. I am the real Moshiach. Uh-oh, you got some competition. What was that guy's name, too? His screen name here is A. Houtshit. What was his name, though? The guy that called in? I can't remember now. What's your name, dude?
I forget what it is.
Even the fact
Peter,
that we shared
I think.
group chats in the first place, we shared a lot of information about trans, about Charlie, how Charlie was more concerned.
So he shared the group chat with Josh Hammer and Charlie, saying the one that got leaked to Candace, who they're accusing Joe Kent of doing it. The one where Charlie said he's done with the pro-Israel movement or something like that. He's the one that gave it to Kent, and it got leaked somehow to Candace. And
than any other community about the trans coming after him. You want to know the truth? That's actually the truth. I heard over the course of the last 2 years of Charlie's life, probably about 50 references of how he knew the trans Tifa was going to come after him. And he was worried about that. That's the truth. Never mentioned one time about the Jews. Okay? Never once. And here's why it's so frustrating, is because there is going to be even more evidence that is presented to the public in May.
My social security number is posted online.
I told you not to do that, dude.
My identity, if you can handle it, smile.
Dude, they're gonna sell all your suit making profits, dude. That's not a good move.
Evidentiary hearing, okay? And it's a mountain of evidence, some of which has been made public, some of which has not been made public yet. And the prosecution is going to lay out its case against Tyler Robinson. And I'm told it's a whopper. I'm told they've got this guy dead to rights. And meanwhile, you have government officials that are now saying on the record to journalists they are willing to testify on behalf of the defense to get, ostensibly, to get Tyler Robinson off the hook for something that he did.
That's the other new headline I'm seeing. Did you see that, Amalek? Joe Kent is saying that he's willing to testify in the defense of the, what's the guy's name? The tranny shooter, the assassin?
Robinson, or
Tommy Robinson, or
yeah, whatever the guy's name is, you know what I'm talking about. The fucking shooter, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Tyler Robinson.
And so the level of betrayal that I currently feel is dramatic and extreme. The level of just frustration, the idiocy that is on full display, we have to call it out, because if this ends up screwing up the jury pool, if this ends up in some ways getting a hung jury, getting this case thrown out, or even just getting the death penalty off the case, off the potential list of consequences here.
Meanwhile, remember, Kent's kind of theory here is that because it is the theory that basically because he was
Iran war.
Yeah, it was going to be against the Iran war that they had to get rid of him. Charlie Kirk, that is.
Hold on, my
so
wife's
it is
calling.
like an accusation against Israel.
Okay, let me play this next clip. I got to pick up for my wife.
New report from moments ago, a new report from journalist Michael Schellenberger dropped. As you know, yesterday we covered the backstory, but what really happened with the screen grabs, the notorious screen grabs now, and I revealed to this audience that I did in fact share that screen grab with Joe Kent, and Joe suggested that I leak that publicly. I declined. I went back through our messages, and he suggested I do so twice. I declined. Obviously, those were private messages. I wanted to keep them private for Charlie's sake. I thought that was honoring my friend. Anyway, so this new report comes out from Schellenberger, and it says, as you see on your screen, that Joe Kent says he's willing to testify at the trial of Tyler Robinson. So this is obviously a huge bombshell and escalates everything to a much bigger level. I have reached out to Michael Schellenberger, and he has agreed to come on the show today. He interviewed Joe Kent for this.
He says, if I ended up having a role, having to play that role, then I'll do it. But like, what is he going to testify and say, though? What he's already said publicly? Like, yes, he told me he didn't want to go in the war. Does he think that they're going to bring him in front of on the stand and go, do you think Israel killed Charlie Kirk?
He's trying to say that he had evidence or a reason to believe that there's foreign government involvement and that the FBI and
refused to investigate, right?
Basically blocked him off, right? Yeah. So he's trying to say that he would go in and say something along those lines. You know what I mean?
There's a cover up.
Yeah, he would testify that he's being, some kind of cover up or patsy or something like that. That's what he's kind of insinuating.
Just when you thought the Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens saga couldn't get any more dramatic,
so dumb.
We get this.
Words. Michael Schellenberger will be joining us at 1:30 Eastern, so set your clocks and please tune in then. It's going to be an important conversation. And Blake, let's just take this out a step and explain why this is actually a really important thing. As you know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Seriously, bro, please have someone in your audience steal my identity. It would only be appropriate since I am the chosen one. I grant whoever it is full permission to do it.
Dude, I don't know why you're doing this.
That we do not.
Sorry, guys, I would ban him, but he's the only one that's donating. So, what's wrong with the rest of you?
That we do not discuss.
He's not the only one. I appreciate everyone that has donated. Just a joke.
This is different. Joe Kent was a government official at a very important post, and now he's saying he's willing to testify ostensibly on behalf of Tyler Robinson.
Yes.
This is a bigger deal. This is a line cross that we have not seen.
Yes. Let's just recite it where he says,
Social Security number? Little lad, I'm already covered in oil, as the anointed one should be, building a third temple in my backyard, and waiting to usher in an era of peace.
Dude, how do you like your Jesus? All glistening, oiled up, anointed with the holy oil, glimmering off his ripped abs on the cross. Dude, bro, go on Big Tech's show. Tech Monkey and Big Tech want to interview you. Well, I'll watch that tonight. I'll put you in contact if you want to go on there. I'm sure Big Tech would love that if you donated to him.
Kent, this is Schellenberger's reporting on Substack. Kent said he knew he might be called as a witness before he made his statements that a, quote, foreign nexus may have been involved in Kirk's assassination. I was definitely warned of that over and over again, said Kent. If I end up having to play that role, then I'll do it. It's not something I'm seeking. When pressed that his testimony could help the Robinson defense, Kent said, then honestly, so be it. If it gets us to the truth, that's obviously the risk I'm taking. Neither
Amaleki, how do you think Christians are primed to be conspiratards? Peace. Love your work, except that you are not a pagan and believe in the moon landing.
Yeah, that's okay. But I think the whole grand conspiracy, like the cosmic conspiracy that God sent his son down to kill himself, to sacrifice him to himself, like that whole idea itself is a conspiracy theory. And I think that also the ancient Jewish literature, I've talked about this before, the stuff like Enoch and all these like ascension experiences and all these types of ideas, like this is basically like proto conspiracy theory or ancient conspiracy theory, ancient sci-fi, you might call it. So like just from that right there, that's
$5 on Rumble.
Oh, hell
yes,
yeah.
Plug me into Big Tech. I'll take care of him all the same for the time. Send to my email ahote@gmail.
All right, dude. We're all looking forward to that. I'll send the email for sure. Big Tech will be ecstatic.
But
he was very interested in what you had to say. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. But basically, like all of these, what I would call like conspiracy theories, like not like conspiracy brained people who like look at the world through a lens of conspiracy. Almost all of them are Christian in some way. So I don't know.
Yeah, whenever people say like Christians are are more susceptible to conspiracies because Christianity is a conspiracy that they've already fallen for. It makes me think of that comedian. What's his name? He goes, "It's there's a invisible man in the sky, and he did this." George Carlin, right? If you're schizophrenic to think there's an invisible man in the sky that died for you, that is going to punish you if you don't believe in him, that has these special rules for you and stuff. It is like mass psychosis, like mass schizophrenia, that everybody goes along with this.
Not just
you think that you can pray and he can hear you, and that'll have an effect on your life?
Saying plug me into big tech sounds kind of gay, dude.
Plug me into the Matrix, big tech monkey.
It's not just that too, but think about this. Think about if you actually believe that there's like somebody over your shoulder watching you and like judging you for what you're doing, that is basically like borderline. That is what kind of schizophrenia is, right?
Yeah.
That is kind of a schizophrenic idea in itself, that somebody is over your shoulder watching what you're doing, judging you for what you're doing, that that your life is part of some destiny. And you can even say, like, if you think that Jesus is coming back in your lifetime, right? Like if you link all those three ideas together, it makes perfect sense why these people are into conspiracies.
Yeah, you think that the beast system and Antichrist is rising and Jesus is going to return, like that's basically a conspiracy theory. You think it's a heavenly, divine, cosmic conspiracy and a cosmic drama. Christophrenia. Hey, Grace, thank you.
Have a great day, Jess.
Thank you, Grace.
Always glad to see Amalek.
I haven't seen you much on the timeline. Have you been laying low, Grace? Or just the algorithm is hiding you?
I think she's sick of the
Also
retards.
Cool sent $5. Derek Bros made a community post.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
And many of his subs were seething and coping in the reply.
Yeah.
It's so annoying we have these Christane idiots in these types of alt spaces.
Yeah, Derek is pretty green-pilled. He had me featured. We got to watch myself in his documentary. We should watch the whole thing. That'll be a good content stream. He made a couple documentaries called The Pyramid of Power, and he did interview with me one day, and I'm like clipped up throughout some of it. We need to watch that.
Robinson's attorneys nor the prosecuting attorneys responded to a request for comment. And then I'm not sure if there's more. I might have to pay for Schellenberger's subscription.
Look for an email from me. Enjoy the shekels. I would never challenge these donations in credit dispute.
I hope
not.
not.
My style, and I am very stylish.
You are.
Friend, Adam.
Thank you.
Emoji.
Thank you. When the world recognizes your holy chosen status, you can make me a holy suit one day. Nice fitted suit. Sounds good.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure it does go further, and we're gonna, like I said, be talking to Michael Schellenberger in the second half of next hour at 1:30 Eastern, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. This to me is galaxy brain run amok, and let me explain.
It's called Goy Brain, dude.
Why I say
Galaxy Brain.
Jonathan Turley, who is I guess he's a contributor to Fox News.
This is too long of a clip.
Trans coming after him.
Okay, we saw the rest of this clip.
Idiocy that is on full.
Let's do the Candace one talking about it.
Do that. And it's gone a little bit viral. I want to address it.
This is the last clip we're doing, by the way, guys. 25 to go to hit the goal. I know we got it. We got this.
And it's gone a little bit viral. I want to address it. Let's go ahead and play
Almost
it.
a 3-hour stream today.
The way that those screenshots got to Candace is via Joe Kent. Andrew Colvett.
I wonder if they were accusing him of leaking that because the Kirk thing.
He admitted,
because you know how they're accusing Kent of leaking.
Hold on. Let me tell you, Amalek. When I'm playing a quiet, hold on.
You're good.
From a poor young man.
When I'm playing a clip and it's quiet, I have to turn up the volume high on here, and then if you start talking over it, it's blowing everybody's ears out because your audio is mixed higher than that. So just
be perfectly honest.
Keep that in mind. Hold on, let's see.
Colvett.
This is the rabbi that was on that we clip up all the time, that was on the group chat with Charlie and Josh Hammer. The rabbi he was wargaming with before his appearance the next day.
Andrew was in the chat group as well. He was one of the 9 people in the group. And he admitted at first, be perfectly honest, at first he was denying it. We didn't know how Candace got them. But then he admitted on the air, on his show, that he had given these text messages and he gave them he said that on the show that he gave them to someone in the government. He told us that he gave them to someone in the government. Joe Kent was someone that we knew that there was a relationship there between Charlie and Andrew and Joe. We knew that when Charlie would visit Washington, D.C., he would talk to Joe. We kind of verified.
As sent $5 on Rumble. The United States has lifted sanctions on Russian oil, yet
That's
France
right.
continues to detain
And Iranian
Russia's
oil,
shadow
too.
fleet. The fall of Edom.
Interesting.
Yeah, the whole
Isn't
world
Russia
situation
making
sucks.
huge profits right now because of the oil prices too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Todd.
That the messages had been given by Andrew.
Thank you, Nod Mark. There we go.
Great job, Adam.
Cheers. Thank you, Nod Mark. And we hit the goal. Thank you, guys.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, cut out early. Thank you. Appreciate you guys so much.
Joe Kent, and that Joe Kent had been the one to pass them on to Candace.
All right. So Verified's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I do want to confirm what I can confirm, and that is that, yes, in the immediate aftermath, I did provide the group chat to Joe Kent. We don't throw around accusations recklessly here. We don't. There's a lot of people that do that online. We don't do that. We think that's keeping in the spirit of Charlie's spirit, and the way we choose to do things is we try and be responsible. So, yes, in a spirit of looking at every lead, turning over every stone, we wanted everybody that needed to know anything that we knew. Not just, I mean, and by the way, we've been accused of not being interested in the truth.
And just to remind people what this is referring to, this is after Charlie's murder,
I hope
there
sent
were
$10
text
on Rumble.
messages that...
FYI, it's going to get a lot weirder in Pusa cookery before what I have to say gains momentum. What I'm doing is a simple business deal that causes a rebirth of Tree of Life Garden of Eden.
That sounds unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. You're bringing back Garden of Eden, huh? Does that mean we all get to be naked?
Or text messages that from a private group chat.
Yep.
No more
were
suits?
made public, and were used to, frankly, kick off the big conspiracy theory that we've run into over and over again, which is that Israel or the Jews had Charlie murdered.
Yes. So,
which we do not believe.
But we have been accused of trying to, or we're not interested in the truth. The actual fact of the matter is that behind the scenes, we have given everything we know to give, every single piece of information. This was one of them. I was told I could trust Joe Kent. I provided the screen grabs to Joe Kent.
So what I was saying is, I wonder, I bet you, like, you know how they basically, there's this whole narrative that they're saying inside the Trump administration that Joe Kent was leaking information, and Joe Kent's denying that, saying he didn't leak any information. I wonder if it's based on this, right? They're saying like, oh, Joe Kent leaked the Charlie Kirk text messages to somebody, therefore he can't be trusted. Therefore,
bro,
oh, he must have, you know what I'm saying?
We're going to war, dude. Look at this. U.S. Army is increasing the maximum enlisted age from 34 to 42. Dude, I could still sign up. And in limiting the waiver requirements for a single conviction of possession of marijuana. Oh, dude, they must be desperate for cannon fodder for war. No, that makes sense. You shouldn't be banned from the military because you got busted with weed one time. A bunch of stoners running the military. What could go wrong? Or not running, in it. Pope Leo held a worldwide summit for exorcists to discuss the address of growing threats of Satanism and occultism. Oh, my God. Is that real? All right.
I never know with that guy.
Yeah. That is all we have for today. That LLM thing was cool.
There's a lot you could do with it. I was just talking. I'm messaging back and forth with him. He's going to do some more of it, and show about it. I mean, you could literally like custom tailor it to say like, oh, in this one, give me a more, like you could literally do one for John, and then you could do one for like the synoptics, and you could basically rebuild the whole thing.
I'm going to reverse engineer the process and say like, okay, every word that's about a sun or a stone or a branch or a servant, interpret that as being relevant to the Messiah in the story. Because that's what they were doing. So if we do that, what's the final product going to look like? All right. Thank you, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. I will see you guys again tomorrow. And also, link below for Subscribe Star. Thank you, Amalek. Follow Amalek. Need more Amalek on Twitter.
For the week. I'll be back on Monday next week. That's all right.
We miss you. We miss you in the Twitterverse. And appreciate everybody. I will see you guys again very soon. Have a nice night and take